All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Market Mondays.
Yeah, spirit of debate.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We are live in LA.
Yeah.
Back.
Yes, home away from home.
Feels like New York out here.
Back
Yes,
in
it
the,
does.
back in the lab.
Chilly.
Back in the master investors web.
That's a fact.
Web of investing.
Joy.
Web of investing.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we have to talk about a variety of different things. But first and foremost, want to let you guys know about Earn Your Leisure this tomorrow. We got a dope episode. We got Actively Black.
Yes, my God. Danny, what's going on?
Yeah, so, the company is Athleisure.
That's dope.
So, we've talked about, what's that brand that we talk about a lot?
Support Black?
No, the Athleisure brand.
Oh, Lululemon?
Lululemon.
Yeah.
So it's like a Lululemon type of vibe.
Yes,
where,
absolutely.
This is athletic wear that you can actually just wear in the street. Kind of like Nike, right? Nike, Adidas, stuff like that. Like people wear Nike tracksuits or Adidas, sweatpants, whatever, just on some daily, just run around.
It's a uniform. It's like the going out, I'm just running outside uniform.
But Actively Black is one of the companies that Steph Curry is invested in. A bunch of people are invested in, and it's taken off like a rocket ship.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, so we sat down with him and had a very dope conversation. We sat down with him here actually and did the interview in LA. So we pointing that out tomorrow. It's a dope conversation. He actually made it to the league, but never really made it because he blew his knee out. He got injured.
Yeah, played for the Kings.
So he played like a couple of games.
Yeah.
And so he had to figure out a plan B. And
That's incredible.
went to entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
And now he's off and running. So that's a dope story on entrepreneurship, overcoming adversity, venture capital, because that's how we found out about him, was through Kwame Uncle.
That's a fact.
Who invested in his company.
First person to invest in.
And now everybody's investing in his company now. So that's a dope episode, entrepreneurship. Check it out. Tomorrow, and are we doing something Wednesday?
To be determined, but it looks like we are. But before we go big week on Earn Your Leisure, it's Pisces season.
Hey.
Happy birthday to Shotty.
Happy birthday.
Can we get some flames or some shit?
Let me get some fire emojis in chat.
Fire emojis in chat.
Can we get blue flame emojis in chat?
Pisces season. This is one of those very rare times in a calendar year that we are both celebrating our birthdays in the same week. So today is his. Friday it will be mine. It'll be Pisces season all week. You can send your gifts to Ab. You can send everything.
Gifts are required.
Gifts are required to ASO at Earn Your Leisure. So we appreciate y'all. Not on a serious note, just happy to be here another year and celebrating.
No, that's a serious note.
Yeah. with my brother, it's dope, man. We've been on this journey for a long time, man. So it's very rare in life when you see somebody as a child, which we were. We grew up as young men, as adults, as fathers, and we've been side by side through pretty much all of that. So it's very rare in life when you see that happen. And we've managed to do that, not just with just me and him, but amongst a group of us. So yeah, man, this is dope. Anytime we get to celebrate life, especially another year passing, is dope, man. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I appreciate that. And happy birthday to every Pisces out there. It's our season.
Any big wishes for this birthday? You're the last of the millennial breeds. Us Gen Xers, we have different goals, but what about you? And then we'll go to you.
Well, it is my birthday today. So I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you. Another year around the sun is always a blessing, nothing to take for granted. But just continue to just push it forward, man. Yeah. Got big goals, got big plans. And
get your InvestFest tickets now.
By the way,
please, that would be the best gifts.
My Lord.
But yeah, it's dope, man. It's a blessing to be able to do what we do for a living, to be able to travel, to be able to connect with so many great people, to educate people, to help people, and it's a blessing. So, thank you to everybody that has sent me birthday wishes, and happy birthday to Troy as well. His birthday's on Friday. My birthday's today, so we're a couple days apart. Pisces Pisces season has begun, and Pisces is the best sign, by the way.
No, it's not.
just one of them
We're not
things.
debating that.
It's just
y'all.
one of those
We're just not,
enough debates
some
on the
things
way.
we're not debating. We had 17 debates on the way here. That we're not debating.
It's just one of those things.
And I don't
man.
care what you say about Leos.
I'm not going to
Shout out to the Leos, though. My mom is one.
Leos.
My mom's a Leo, my niece is a Leo, so I got a lot
My
of love.
nephew and my mom are Leos.
I got a lot of love for Leos, man.
We're going to let y'all have y'all month. You know how y'all do.
Please, can we?
Ooh.
But seriously, man, thank you to everybody that has supported us, that has helped us get to where we are now, and that will continue to help us reach higher levels. Greatly appreciate it, and it's a great way to spend my birthday.
Fair.
What else would you rather do than be here with us?
Hey.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, if I could make it, there's no excuse why you ever should miss Market Mondays. It's no ever.
That's a real one.
Yes.
You could have been in Hawaii somewhere.
Yes.
Boy.
Um,
When we going to retreat? Shout out to Danny. When we going to do it? Listen, I got the little place in Mexico we go. Hey.
Hey, honey.
gotta happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. That's
Gotta-
happening. It's happening.
Very soon.
I'll tell you the week that I think we should do it after this. But yeah, it's gonna
Gotta
happen.
happen.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
All right. Think that. Oh, shout out to my brother 19 Keys and Dame Dash. They are doing an event in Oakland, California on 3/23,
Yeah,
I believe.
March 23rd.
March 23rd.
Yep.
They just announced that, so you can get the tickets on either one of their bios, 19 Keys bio, Dame Dash bio. But that limited seating, that's going to be one of them.
Keyword limited, please.
Imagine 19 Keys and Dame Dash having a conversation. That's crazy.
And in Oakland.
In Oakland, California.
And the thing I loved
Hometown.
about that interview, Dame felt so comfortable. Like he didn't have to fight for his point.
Yeah.
So like the balance of like Dame being able to express and then Keys to be able to like support and pour love. Like Dame felt that was the most comfortable I've seen him in an interview in a long time.
I want to talk about that later on in the show because there's a business lesson about that because that took a while to connect and it's beautiful to see that relationship unfold. So there's a lot of valuable gems in there.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about that. But shout out to those gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Good dudes, man, for sure. Troy.
Yeah, so you know how this works, man. Before we get into anything, do your own research. Our content is intended to be used. It must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important that you do your own analysis before making any investment decision or otherwise. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Please, people, do your own research. Continue to do it. I love it. There's nothing more. You know, like last week we talked about, I want to pick your brain, and you know, people kind of took that the wrong way, and some people understood it. You know what I really love when people come, when they have advice or they learn something and they share that.
They
Like,
apply.
hey, I ran into a gentleman yesterday. He was telling me about NVIDIA and the things he was researching on. And I'm like, wow, that's
You've
dope.
done
man.
the work.
You've done the work. And now it's like, this is a valuable conversation because now I can share like some of the things and now we're balancing information. So continue to do the research. And when it's great research, share it. And if you found research and anything you found on this show, please give the credit to the people you found it from.
Yes.
Love is love, man.
Stock Club call Tuesday at 9:30 Central. Get your tickets to Market Mondays Live.
Yes.
Almost done working on the presentation. It's going to be fire, giving away money. A couple surprises. Ashley, I will be talking to you this week. Let me come from the rafters like Sting or something. But this show is going to be amazing. If you've been to Invest Fest or Market Mondays Live before, you know the stage show is. But yeah, I'll be giving away $5,000 at the LA show. Show up early. You already know when I come out, I'm giving the money away right away. Be front row. I may pour some champagne too.
Ooh.
By last night's activities. Why not? Couple little flowers. The little flowers post got y'all in y'all feelings, so I'm gonna get some roses out too.
We got some champagne in the car. We might have to crack that before the end of this show.
True.
About time.
Market Mondays World Tour. First stop, Los Angeles, California. We will be back here March 11th, Novo Theater.
Yes.
Tickets are on sale. They're almost sold out, so please don't wait to the last minute.
Please.
Because at that point, there's nothing that we can do. So please get your tickets now because you don't have to call us and DM us like, yo, it says sold out. I remember that happened in InvestFest last year. They're like, yo, it says sold out because it's sold out.
What do you want me to do? Like, yo, what do you want me to do
That's
at
why
that point?
it says sold out because it's sold out.
Yeah.
Humbly.
So,
Y'all ain't got no more tickets?
So,
Bro, did you
by
not
the
read
way,
the big line?
this is going to be one of those ones. We are pulling out all of the stops, man. We got some surprises that's going to blow your mind. We got some information that's going to blow your mind. We got, listen,
Amazing
we don't want to
bonus.
just, we don't want to spoil it, so we're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But
say,
it's Los Angeles, so we're not going to just come and just do a regular show. It's going to be amazing. Production at the highest level.
Yeah.
So get your tickets now. Link in the bio. And also, the tickets are on sale for the Toronto show.
6.
That's
six.
Yes, April 2nd, Toronto, Canada, Market Mondays live, featuring 19 keys.
Going to be amazing.
Featuring 19 keys, and we're going to have some surprises in Toronto as well. And we're going to do it major in Toronto. So everybody that was on the wait list, you should have got emailed, but you can buy your tickets for Toronto now.
They're not even playing. They're not playing about that. And shout out to Ally. Want to give them a lot of credit for believing in the vision and partnering with us on the Market Mondays live tour. It's going to be incredible. Like you said, LA, we pulling out all the stops. We're going to set this thing off the right way, but Toronto's going to be incredible. We got London after that, Chicago after that, and of course Ghana. So the vision to expand this message worldwide is coming to life, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So make sure y'all catch us in one of those cities. But first and foremost, LA, we're going to kick this thing off.
In every city, the presentation will be custom, all different information.
Yeah.
Don't miss out. Kitchener, I will be there soon. Toronto, I love you so much.
Toronto, Canada. Shout out to Toronto.
Yes.
So let's get into this. All right. So Apple makes major progress on its no-prick glucose tracking for its watch. How big is this, and what impact that could have on the company in the future?
The greatest company on earth continues to be great.
The biggest just got bigger.
This is huge. Just like if Prime LeBron got Giannis, Steph Curry, and Phil Jackson came back to coach. So if we're in a recession, we're going to see companies slowly transition to focus on real businesses. And healthcare is the biggest business of all. Anyone that I talk to about this that actually has diabetes and have to prick themselves, they're like, I will pay for a new device just to not to have to prick myself. So in 2020, when we're doing the show, I'm like, hey, Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple are going to make an aggressive push into healthcare. They get this down to a science. This would probably increase their market cap by at least 40, 50% over a 10-year period. Yeah. This is this is almost like iPhone-esque.
This is big.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, think about that, right? You're talking about something that becomes something everybody can use worldwide. And so when you talk about a device now that people will have to purchase.
That is affordable.
That's affordable, right? Yes. Rather than pricking yourself, you now have an Apple Watch. And I'm explaining how it actually works because it's pretty interesting. But you have the Apple Watch, which is now the product, and now you don't have to prick yourself. But I think one of the interesting things is, and this is just like when you're going into business, they're not trying to solve everything in healthcare. They found one thing
very specific
that they can solve, maximize on, and create a business around.
Yeah.
When I heard that, it made me think of Robert Smith. Shout out to Robert Smith, because when we were in Harlem with him, he was trying to figure a solution for one problem. We have a certain way about, invasive testing for prostate cancer. So let's come up with a solution, right? He found a solution for a problem. Apple has done the same thing with diabetes. If they can get this right, man, this is like, you walk into an industry and it's like you're the newcomer. Like, they walk into the industry, they have a firm print inside of the healthcare industry, basically using their device that they already have.
All that data.
Yeah.
No one's collecting all this data for free. So immediately, think of it like this. They almost have the same kind of value and power that United Healthcare, Eli Lilly has, Merck, Stryker, and they are already known worldwide and already have a tremendous fan base.
Yeah, so here's how this works, right? So the system uses lasers to emit specific wavelengths of light into an area below the skin where there is ancestral fluid, substances that leak out of capillaries. So the capillaries are what moves from blood cells, right? That can be absorbed by glucose, right? So we know glucose levels are something that people check when you have diabetes. The light is then reflected back in a sensor in a way that indicates the concentration of glucose. An algorithm is then sent to determine a person's blood glucose level. Yeah. So literally, you're using the back of your watch as a laser to go through your skin to see how much glucose concentration you have, right? You can check that, how many times a day? Rather than pricking yourself, or, sometimes people wear devices to check it on their, their midsection throughout the day. This is a game changer. This is non-invasive.
And they've trained people for 10 years to be comfortable with having the product in your hand
Yeah.
or on your body the entire time.
Exactly. You know how long they've been working on this?
Yeah, at least
12 years.
Yeah,
They've been trying to solve this one problem for 12 years. The fact that they're at the proof of concept at this point after 12 years, it just tells you, like, they're consistently, we know how big of a company they are. We already know the verticals. We know the wearables. While all that's happening, they're still trying to find problems to improve and increase their business. Healthcare, one of those spaces, like we said, the data.
It's the most important one.
Exactly. We already know the data is being collected, what we were using it for. Most people thought, EKG, they can check your heart rate. Well, here's another way that you can now use the device as well. I think it's incredible.
And as the food desert issue expands, the quality of food isn't as great, this issue is only going to become bigger. So that, unfortunately, gives them a bigger market cap and bigger market share in the space. I don't think, like, when the iPhone came out, it revolutionized the entire tech industry. This is going to change all of healthcare. And you're going to see Google make an adjustment, Amazon make an adjustment, but like United Healthcare, Merck, Eli Lilly, Moderna, they're all going to have to make adjustments as well. And that's why I always say the companies with the biggest bag are always going to be your biggest competitor. My biggest fear is Cardi B gets mad and gets up with The Rock and she figures out how to trade, it's over with. You have to learn how to preemptively understand who can be your competition. And for years, healthcare companies thought that they wouldn't be able to pull this off. Would you rather use this device by Apple or one from
Fitbit?
Good night.
Right, it's tough. Like,
yeah, it's tough.
It's one of those spaces. And even those competitors you said, like, even when we look at a Google, we look at a Microsoft, where are they at in the wearable space?
Just in the infancy space,
right.
Like infancy stages.
Right.
The upside is tremendous.
They got us with it like, hey, this is the next thing. It's the next wave. Oh, again, they probably were planning 5, 10, 12 years, 15 years down the line. Like, this is where we're going to go with it. We're going to treat it like, it's an iPhone on your wrist and it does all these cool things and you can text message. Oh, but here's the real play.
Yeah.
Healthcare.
Every big business on earth is always thinking 10, 20, 50 years down the line. As great investors, I need you guys to do the same. So the Neos and Lucid Motors and all the companies that seem like a good move in the short term, they end up dying out. And as a result, Apple continues to focus on the businesses that really matter. Now, what happens when this is integrated into Africa, India, China? Game, set, match. Maybe the greatest company of all time on the public market.
I wonder what you think about, I know we said, companies have a dominant run over 20 years. They get into the space, obviously with the stranglehold that they can have on healthcare.
I give them another year, 31, 30
the 20 years gets extended?
Absolutely. Now they need to find a great CEO that can be a successor to Tim Cook. Mm-hmm. If they do that and they groom him or her properly, and ironically, I wouldn't be surprised if it's an Indian CEO to then integrate, because as their economy grows.
Largest population in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Game changer.
I mean, healthcare is the largest business in America.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the national budget, if you look at the national budget, more money is spent on healthcare than defense.
That's insane.
So it would only make sense that at some point in time, Apple would get into the healthcare industry.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're already kind of in the healthcare industry as far as monitoring your heart rate, different things of that nature. But now it's like, taking baby steps, one step at a time, to the point where you can, have a tremendous foot in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Whether that's through prescriptions, whether that's through
like
health
Amazon
monitoring, whether that's through, a variety of different things. But I think Apple will definitely be a major player in the healthcare industry. But like you said, not just Apple, Amazon will also be a major player in the healthcare industry. Google
absolutely
will be a major player. All the tech companies, you got to diversify your portfolio at some point in time.
Tesla needs to do the same if they want to survive. They need to find a way to get those vehicles to act as ambulances or emergency vehicle responders at some point, to have another vertical to attack and go into. Because, like, how long can you just be, like, the predominant sexy EV company?
Sexy car, yeah.
Yeah. And it's only a few businesses that you really should be in. Healthcare, family, finances, fitness. Those are, like, the main 4 categories. If you really break them down, Apple is going to do amazing over the next 10, 20 years. Yeah. Please hold this for long term. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. I know you're tired of me talking about Apple, but if it's working and it's a GOAT stock, right? Not an icon, a GOAT.
Not an icon.
You got to hold it forever, man.
Straight goat. Nah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about Adidas and Ye. We spoke about this a couple weeks ago, and now more information has come out. So it appears that Adidas and Ye have reached an agreement for the remaining to sell the remaining inventory that they have of the Yeezy brand, which is $500 million worth of product in Yeezys. Is this a win for Kanye, or will Adidas ultimately be manipulated for this favor?
What do you think? Because we were talking about this yesterday, and you made a great point. It's like, what if they stretch this out for a 3-year period and say, hey, we haven't sold the $500 million worth of inventory, or if they discount it while he's under this contract?
Yeah, well, because the thing about corporate is that and this is why people do like internal audits.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know, like forensic auditing on your books and different things of that nature, because you can make up things, right?
Absolutely.
And then somebody say, okay, like, we're going to pay you for, 1 million downloads on your podcast. And then like they're the only ones that see your downloads.
That have the data.
How do you know if you're getting 100 downloads or if you're getting 10 million downloads?
Yeah.
They're giving you reports that say, okay, you have 1.5 million downloads this month. I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're saying, okay, we got $500 million worth of product, which is the equivalent to 400,000 items, right? I don't know you have 400,000 items.
Who's keeping track of that?
Well, where is it at? Is the
Yeah.
warehouse in China? Is the warehouse in Wisconsin? Is the warehouse in the Philippines?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You sell. What if you sell out in 1 month?
Right.
And then it's like, well, we only sold 50,000.
Yeah.
We got more, and you're just making more to sell it, because it's like, this is going well. So let's just keep doing this for another 2 years. So I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it is. Kanye, I don't think really loses in this situation. I do think that he should still do something independent if he can.
Absolutely.
If he can get his head together and really like focus on that. But I feel like he doesn't really get hurt by this. Adidas, they're gonna have to do some explaining, because they took a strong stance on him and separating him and saying that they don't condone hate speech, and they have people that they got to answer to.
Yeah.
They got people that are going to be questioning, well, you just reversed this, now you're going back. Like, so how do you explain working with somebody 2 months later after you just say that you can't work with them? This is why I say it's only business. It's only business. There is no morals when it comes to this. And that's why I hate when people try to put moral. It's not about morals. It's about if you can make money or if you can't make money. And Kanye started to hurt the business
too much
when he was talking too much, because it wasn't a moral thing. Because if it's the moral thing, then you would have cut him when he said the thing about black people, slavery. So that's not the reason why you did it. You did it because some of the things that he said started to hurt your bottom line. You should have just said that.
Yeah.
Because now you look like it's a crazy reverse when it hasn't even been 6 months. It's been like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like 3 months ago, you said this is over. We can't do it.
I mean,
then you lose $2 billion and you're saying, okay,
this is her.
Let's think about this.
Yeah, you start looking at forward projections and you're saying to yourself, wait, we lost $2 billion, but like we still had him part of our calendar fiscal year for half the year.
Yep.
What is it going to look like when we don't have him for an entire fiscal
$9 billion
right?
in 2 or 3 years?
And so I think from Kanye's standpoint, it's interesting because he has so much leverage. He doesn't have to do it, but from a monetary standpoint, it makes sense if he needs the money to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time, we had this conversation earlier, was like for so long, especially in our community and hip hop culture, we couldn't quantify the impact. It's tough to quantify it, right? Like we'll tell you like, hey, yeah, we're this much of the consumer, but the people are buying it because they're seeing us wear it. And so that, you got to take that into account. And when you look at the bottom line, it's like, yeah, whatever. But like Kanye was the first time you were like, all right, you can see the cultural impact and the financial impact come together. And then when the financial impact was taken away, look at the bottom line of your company.
Yeah. And I think it was...
And look at the bottom line for the rest of the people in your company. Since that moment.
That's true. While in a recession, while inflation is there, spending is tighter, I think the Adidas executive made a huge mistake that a lot of big corporations make. They don't talk to the audience and don't know what the audience really wants. So like when you took Yeezy away from it, the shoes were really worth like $30. Like no one wanted to wear them. It was like wearing like Payless Nikes with the big swoosh on the side, right? Like
without the Easy.
Yeah. Without him being attached to it. So when you have that kind of mistake and don't have an athlete in place or any succession plan, that's a huge mistake. I thought they probably thought they can push him away and capitalize on the inventory, and it backfired. In the same way when we saw, going back to Apple, when they put Steve Jobs out and Scully ran Apple, and it was like, well, if we have a few good ideas, the business will run well. But sometimes you have a person that's so important to the brand ethos that you can't detach them away.
But also, it goes down to, it's like Michael Jordan leaving Nike.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at a certain point, it's danger when one person has so much influence over a company. That's not a good business model.
Well, it depends on how you structure the deal.
No matter what. No matter how you structure the deal. Because God forbid, somebody can die. Somebody can get sick. You never want to have, like, there's nobody that, even CEO included, disappears from Google and it's over. Disappears from Apple and it's over. Like, Steve Jobs died and Apple is still running, right? It's like, that's a dangerous business model when you have a star player approach to things.
Mm-hmm. Even worse is having no star.
Not necessarily, because it's a slow grind, right? Like, I would rather take the no star approach and slow grind it out as long as I'm profitable, as long as I'm making money. Because here's what happens with star players. You learn this from sports and you learn this from music. Record labels and sports are very similar. When a player goes through the ranks, right? They're extremely humble and they're willing to learn.
Yeah.
And they're a team player. At some point, they start to excel more than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And they go from being a team player and being a role player to being a star player. Mm-hmm. When you become a star player, you're treated as a star player. Mm-hmm. Then you start to realize that you're a star player. Yeah. Then at some point in time, your actions start to change. Mm-hmm. So now you have to deal with that star player differently. The coach can't scream at LeBron. LeBron can miss.
Because he doesn't bring the value that LeBron does.
But listen, LeBron can miss all-star practice. LeBron don't have to go. Like, these are things that you're afforded. Michael Jordan can scream at a referee, right? Tyronn Lue couldn't. Yeah. So the problem with that is that it's extremely difficult to deal with personalities like that.
That's true, yeah.
You don't realize that until you have to deal with the personality. Yeah. Most people you can't have sympathy for somebody until you're in their shoes. Yeah. If you're not a coach, if you're not running a record label, if you're not the CEO of a company that has to deal with the nonsense, it's difficult to understand it.
It was very difficult for Krause too, and then when he broke that team up, what has Jerry Krause done?
No, but I'm just saying.
Rest in peace.
It's
God rest his soul.
And it's not.
I'm from the Midwest.
But it's not to say that it's not to say that star players aren't needed, because of course they're beneficial. Yeah. But at some point in time, the headache becomes more than the talent. The headache becomes more than the talent.
Can I give you an example where the inverse happened?
Yes.
Tom Brady and Belichick. And I'll go. This is me, Ian Dunlap, Red Panda Rebellion. Belichick was overrated as a coach.
But coach,
at what point?
We saw when Thomas left.
Oh, the fact that he hasn't won since Thomas left.
And has had no impact. If we want to talk about cultural impact, boy.
But here's the thing. Coaches, most of the time, outlive players. Mm-hmm. But owners outlive all of them.
Absolutely. That's a great bar. Said it again.
Coaches outlive players. Owners outlive everybody. Yes. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Patriots have never been the same since Tom Brady left. Here's also the thing. Nobody is bigger than the system. The Patriots still make billions of dollars every single year. So who lost?
Robert Kraft that's the purpose of being an owner. Equity over everything.
So who lost?
Equity, yeah.
So who lost?
Belichick.
But
no, he really didn't.
He's still coaching.
He's going to be out of there soon.
He's still coaching.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I think
he's going to be out of there soon.
And that's the thing. Nobody's bigger than the program.
That's why to run it back to the Kanye thing. Like he's in a position where he can have the leverage, right? Yeah. So now if he even wanted to create something or have equity, it's like, yo, I don't want to do this deal. I'm going to watch y'all keep bleeding. Because there is no say. Like, how do I know when you sell $500 million? You gonna stop saying it?
They're not gonna open the books.
You gonna stop sales and say like, well, we've reached our mark, and thank you for the partnership, and go on with your way. There is no way to know, right? They're probably holding it like, yo, we're gonna sell. They're probably projecting like we're gonna do $2 billion in sales
easily, and you can't go back to Nike because
and it's not like we're gonna be like, yo, hey, we're gonna open the books and show you.
Yeah,
we're just gonna agree to these terms, and then we'll figure this thing out. There is no way, but he has leverage now. If he says, yo, I don't want to agree to this,
you know why? You know why he doesn't have leverage
in this scenario? Okay,
because he doesn't have money.
That's what I said.
Can't go to war unless your money's right.
That's what I said.
Pac said that.
That's what I said.
Pac said that.
I said if he needs it from a monetary standpoint, right? Now he may say like, I'm comfortable living in my backpack with $40 million, right? He might be comfortable doing that, or he might say like, yo, my ego knows that I'm worth $10 billion.
Yeah,
and if in order for me to get back there, I got to get this capital to build what I really want. And that might be something he could do too, right? But it's just about where you're at with it. Because he might be like, remember for like 2 months, he was just, I'm living out of my book bag. And you randomly see him at the Edition Hotel in LA, and he's in the lobby. And then,
but I think he knew the downfall was coming in.
He felt it.
Yeah.
But is he comfortable in this space now? I don't know.
That's a hard fall. No. If we're going to be real, no. I don't
know. Yeah, he's a different type of dude. I don't know.
Good lesson. If you have something good, don't ruin it. Whether that's the executive, star player, coach,
or read your paperwork.
True, because we don't even know. We don't know what the percentage of the they say of $500 million. He's not going to get $100 million out of this deal.
No, he's not. But once again, nobody's bigger than the program.
Never.
Understand when you understand that, you'll go far in life.
Yeah.
When you don't understand that, you'll have trouble.
If that's true, Adidas went back to reconcile what they did wrong to get him. They would have been able to run the program without him.
That's short term. That's short term, right? Long term, Adidas is going to exist 20 years after this. Well, we'll see, right? But the thing is, it's the same game plan, right? Nike knows at some point Jordan is going to stop playing basketball. So what they do, they create Team Jordan. Yeah. Right? That wasn't successful. Nobody even thinks about that. When Eddie Jones and Ray Allen was doing Jumpman, nobody wears Jumpman.
Yeah.
They needed to bring back the retros of the guy who made the money. But while they're doing that, they're looking for the next talent. Oh, there's this guy from LA. Oh, we got to get him. Oh, this is this kid from Akron. Yeah, we definitely have to get him.
And Nike also used Kanye and Don C and their cultural influence for no equity to make the retros pop.
This is also true.
I remember when Don C was the first one.
Don C and Kanye
killing retros, like
those retros back. That's a fact.
Negotiate from the very beginning so you don't get screwed over. Because there's no loyalty in business. Only what the paperwork says.
There you have it.
Vincent.
Okay. So the next bull market in stocks won't kick off until the Fed is forced to bail out the U.S. government. That's what Bank of America has stated. So the Bank of America is saying that there will not be another bull market until we get a bailout from the government. What's the deal with this?
America's in trouble. Inflation keeps going up. Does not seem to slow down anytime soon.
It says we're going up to 6.
Which would be gracious. The bond market is falling apart. The housing applications have dropped almost 50%. The savings rate from 2020 went from 40% down to 3%. People don't even really have money to invest into market extra expenses now. And someone asked me, are we going to have like a hard crash? I think this is going to be like a slow, gradual crash that just continues to like grind down. We're going to have to change almost everything how we do business in this country. Otherwise, we're going to fall apart very fast. We have some really big competitors in Brazil, Russia, India, China that are all coming to eat our lunch at the same time while leadership is not doing a great job, while the Federal Reserve is trying to offset the issues that we're having, but they haven't been doing a great job. I keep saying it. America is Hulk Hogan. It was amazing in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and now we're falling apart, and now we're on our worst leg. We have a lot of improving to do, and we need to do this really fast. Like the next 3, 4, 5 years are going to be incredibly important. Yeah. It looks like we do need a bailout, for sure.
I'll give you a statistic, all right? They said the U.S. government currently has a debt pile of $31 trillion. With a T. I'm going to give you context behind that. $31 trillion, and that's expected to soar by $20 trillion over the next 10 years. So we're potentially looking at $50 trillion with a T, the debt pile, right?
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of $5.2 billion a day and $218 million every hour.
Spending like drunken sailors. And then we sold our toll roads many years ago. There's very little innovation in the United States of America. Small businesses are not doing as well. The government don't have enough programs to help the small businesses.
Corona bailouts.
That's tough, man.
A lot is happening in that same time.
So here's the good thing. You can always print money. And there will be another stimulus. So when they say things like this, like the average person is looking like, oh, this is a doomsday, but stimulus is part of the American economy.
Also leads to the downfall.
Well, it's been happening for 50 years. It's not like something that it accelerated during COVID and during the financial crisis 2008, but there's always been bailouts. There's always been stimulus programs.
But you can say this, like once we got off the gold standard, that's when that was a canary in the coal mine that told us like America was starting to fall apart.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
that's when America became great again. What do you mean? That was the greatest years of America.
Oh, okay.
That was the greatest years.
So when the dope boys ran up the bag in Atlanta and St. Louis and money was flowing in.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Shout out to the guys, right?
I don't know who he's talking about.
The money came in so fast, it felt like it was never going to end.
Yeah.
And then you have the day when it all goes away.
So
America's like in the fallen version of like.
So at some point, you're saying that, yo, stimulus is obviously a part, and we saw it expedite. That's why I was saying this debt pile of 50 trillion, which is like, I mean, you can't even count to that, but like at some point, we got to stop printing the money.
Every time we print money, we're borrowing literally from our future. So it's like having a bad credit card.
No, yeah, it's not listen,
sustainable. Yeah,
it's not sustainable.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's listen. America became the world's number one superpower, I think, after World War I, right? It was like 1940, 50?
That's two.
I think World War II was 41 to 45.
So what was World War I? Like in 1930-ish?
To like 22.
It was after the Great Depression.
Great Depression is 29.
So look, my whole point is, this hasn't even been a 100-year cycle. Empires last
252 years.
So
how long has America been running?
We haven't even hit 100-year mark. What you're referring to as far as the gold standard, that was during President Richard Nixon.
That's 69.
That was right around 1970.
And look at the decline of the dollar since. Everyone put in chat, how much has the dollar fallen since we came off the gold standard?
Look at the rise of the American economy from 1970 to 2010.
It's Jose Canseco.
It's the biggest, what tech and everything has been able to accomplish in the last 40 years hasn't happened in 4,000 years in world history. This is actually the biggest economic miracle ever. So that's actually America's best times actually came after they got taken off of the gold.
That sounds like all the girls in LA that party, they go to the bathroom and real quick, and then they're like, oh my God, it's the best party ever. It is for right now.
A gentleman's bump?
Yeah. Hey.
Well, we know this, nothing lasts forever.
I think the key is what you said. How long, when is sustainability
10 years.
capped?
10 years. China will have a bigger economy in America, they said, in the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
So at that point, China is
India's on our ass too.
So at that point, China is number one.
Yeah.
China's going to be number one.
Because of gross mismanagement.
And debt.
So,
yeah.
But here's the thing. Just because you're not number one doesn't mean you still can't be successful.
Like, you can be great.
Great Britain is still a successful country.
Yeah.
Not how it used to be.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not. Of course not.
Yeah. And this is the difference. Like, we had some...
But would you rather live in London or Uzbekistan? No disrespect to Uzbekistan.
Shout out to all y'all. Balky and all y'all.
I would prefer to be in Mexico. Cuando sé cómo se dice, I'm coming back soon. Love y'all.
I would rather be in London, and we'll see you in June.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Well
I got the date.
Shout out to London.
I got the date.
But the number one cause of all empires collapsing, one of the top 3 reasons is printing too much money.
And negligence.
Gross.
I mean, it was gross negligence printing all this money.
But it's also,
Yes.
This is a different competition.
Yeah.
It's negligence on, some people have to take accountability as well. Not just the government's fault. Empires fall because of the people too. The people
starts at the top,
people have gotten lazy. the people have not championed the right thing. Yeah, government influences, but
The greatest influence.
yeah, but you still got to take responsibility.
They program our food, water,
you got to take
education system.
100,000 people listen to Market Mondays every single week, right? They're making a decision to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they saying like, who put the liquor store in the neighborhood? Well, who made you drink liquor?
But programming is there for a reason, though.
But
we're trying to.
You got to take it, but it's self-responsibility. At some point in time, you got to have accountability.
I agree. But a greater force is, and Keys and I had this conversation like about what was the greatest products in American history, slavery being number one. That was the first business. The American education system is like the most successful startup for the Rockefeller family.
And it fell apart.
What did?
American education.
How, when all of our kids are mandated to go by law?
Because we went from being one of the top educations to we're not even in the top 15.
No, the education system was not to benefit us.
I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about every person in America. Educationally ranking, we're behind 15 or more countries. Not just black people.
No.
This isn't a racial thing. I'm talking about
I'm not saying,
people are not educated on every level.
I'm saying I think you're talking about from a business standpoint.
You're talking from an individual
standpoint. Right? Like, from a business standpoint.
Yeah, the American education system was created by Rockefeller to benefit his companies.
Yeah, but I'm saying only way to benefit his companies is you still need to have educated people.
Or you just need
you need bodies.
You still need productive people.
You need
productive people.
True.
You need productive people.
But the most important thing is you need people.
TikTok and all of this is creating a generation of unproductive people.
Instagram first?
Instagram, yeah, it plays a part, for sure.
Big part. Hey, Meta.
See you
Gotta
soon.
make some changes. See you soon.
See you soon.
Gotta make some changes.
Shout out to all y'all
Hip hop has done
verified folks.
Yeah, AB and I we were talking about this earlier. How much damage has hip hop done? That is a tool of destruction that got put in our communities too.
Yeah, how much damage has drugs done? We consume more drugs than any country in the world.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
We consume more everything. We consume more pornography. We consume more drugs. We have more people incarcerated. We do everything more. We consume more alcohol.
Take it to the max.
We consume more fast food. We have the worst diets. We have the highest rate of diabetes. We have the highest rate of cancer. We have the highest rate of heart attacks. This is
and who's going to benefit from that? Apple, Microsoft, Eli Lilly.
It's a pattern of
BlackRock and Vanguard.
It's a pattern of indulgence. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
That's true.
And there's the business aspect, right?
Absolutely.
I got the bodies.
That's done by design.
You become the product.
Yep. If I can train you from a kid all the way through 18, 19, 20, not to fight, to go with the system, go with the flow.
Some are going to make it out.
1%, yeah.
I open every cell in Attica, send them to Africa.
Fact.
Right? But what do you guys think? Do you think we are programmed and we need to be deprogrammed, or is it a issue of lack of accountability? But America's
unlearn.
No, it's everybody's fault. It's not just the people. It's the government's fault. It's people's fault. It's everybody's fault.
Enough blame to go around.
What do you guys think? Best comment, I will cash app you tonight. Let me know. Engagement. I've been watching Mr. Beast videos.
Captain Cash App.
That's funny. That's funny.
Captain Cash
I like
App.
that.
The average 401k lost 20% of its value last year.
Mm-hmm.
What should the audience do to increase gains in their long-term portfolios?
They should come to Market Mondays live in Los Angeles.
First
The
thing.
best decision that you can make.
I wrote that down.
Hey, I mean, listen, 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. But the truth is, like, you have to learn, going back to the accountability part, no one cares about your money the way that you will. So you have to learn how to invest in your own.
And you also, so here's the thing. I came in as a financial advisor in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
The worst economic downturn
It was hell on earth back
since the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing that we've seen this year or last year
is remotely close
to that.
They thought the country was going to fall apart.
They thought the world was going to fall apart. You got to understand, they was in Greece and couldn't get money out of ATM machines. This was a worldwide economic disaster.
Yeah.
That's when I started. That's where I started.
It's a great time to start.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Only can go up from here.
Yeah, you got for real. You got to build a down cycle.
So I started during the worst economic downturn. Then obviously, Corona came. That was another disaster. That was short lived.
Mm-hmm.
One thing has remained consistent over the course of time.
Yes.
Equities have gone up.
Yes.
Equities have gone up over the course of time. Sometimes it takes 18 months for it to recover. Sometimes it takes 8 weeks for it to recover. But this is why dollar cost averaging is important, because when you put money into investments while they're down, that's the best time
to buy.
You buy low, sell high. That's like the number one rule thing. So when you are in your 401k and you're putting money in, you got to continue to put money in.
Absolutely.
This is what happened during 2008. A lot of people they panicked. They stopped putting money in. They cashed out their 401k, or they moved from equities, they moved from stocks to stable. Like they put it in the money market.
Yeah.
They saw their account go from 500,000 to 300,000. They got scared. They took it out of stocks. They put it in the money market. You know what happened the next year? Stock market went up 42%. They didn't get any of that.
And if you're a year away from retiring, I get it. But if you're like 50 or younger, you have to keep your money in equities.
Don't panic. It's a long-term play.
Yeah.
Over the course of time, history is the only thing that we can really gauge. History has always said that stocks go up.
Yes.
Yeah. Warren Buffett just said this at the Berkshire meeting.
Investing is not hard.
He was like, look, if over the 100-year span, I've been investing. He's 92 years old. He said, I've been investing since I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
He said, majority of my life, I'm telling you from a historic standpoint,
it always goes up.
It's always going to go up. Yep. We don't have to complicate this.
Yep. For those of you who are new, welcome to the show. VOO is a S&P index fund that's like an all-star team. VTI, same thing. Apple, one of the top companies of all time. Microsoft. It's like having Jordan and LeBron on the same team, so you don't have to debate which GOAT to pick, right? You want to have both in your arsenal.
And then also sometimes, so most of the time for 401k, you're not going to be able to put individual stocks in 401k. Sometimes they might not even let you to put like an index fund depending on the 401k. But you will be able to 9 times out of 10 to do target date funds, something that's extremely beneficial. So it's like the year that you're planning on retiring, whether it's 2030, 2040, 2050, 2060, then they have a fund dedicated to that most of the time in your 401k plan or your retirement plan. And it gets more conservative as you get closer. So it reallocates itself over the course of time. That's extremely beneficial as opposed to you just trying to do it yourself. So when you're investing in your 401k, look at the prospectus, look to see your options. But that's always a good choice.
Options as in what you can invest in long term, not trading options.
Oh, yeah. So, but there's always just think long term. Long story short.
Please.
That's the easiest win.
Please.
5 years minimum. 30, like it's impossible if you invest in the S&P 500 to lose over a 20-year period. I know some people are going to say, hey, I don't have 20. Those 20 years are going to go by like in a heartbeat.
Yeah, just think about this. When we were telling people 5 years, 10 years in 2020.
Yeah.
They're already halfway through it.
Absolutely.
Like it's already 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, just be diligent with what you're doing and just have the patience. Have the discipline. More than the patience, have the discipline to stay the course.
I want you guys to do like an assessment real quick. If you started investing when Amigos first came out to their breakup, like what percentage would you be up? I'm assuming at least 1,500%.
The game can't come back.
See? And I ain't get left off bad and bougie. So, invest for the long term.
Rest in peace to Tate.
Yes.
Shout out to Honcho.
One of the greatest groups of all time, maybe, or no?
Shout out to Offset, too, man.
Better than the Locks or no?
It's commercially successful, yes. Commercially.
We've been having debates. Jada, Styles, I want to issue. Styles be quick. Hey, brother, what was up with that?
Yeah. We're not even going to do that on here. Shout out to 914.
I love you.
Shout out to Atlanta.
I made a post on Instagram that got a lot of traction 2 weeks ago. I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but I wanted to just briefly talk about it. As far as, so I had my son with me in All-Star. So This is something that I wanted to highlight because we made a post about it, but sometimes when you actually make it a real world case,
example?
It's easier for people to understand it because it's not just like a hypothetical thing. So, one of the benefits with being an employer is that you can employ your children, right? This is something that's extremely beneficial because it's like most of the time a child can't work. I think you can't get working papers in most states until you're like, 14 years old?
14.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, right? But the rules are different for business owners.
Yes.
For business owners, you can employ your child as long as they can do a job, right? A 1-year-old can't be a computer scientist, guys. So
don't be stupid.
Yeah, they got to be older than 7.
Please.
So just so y'all know, they got to be older than 7.
Yeah. But just use common sense.
Yeah.
But so my son is 12, right? So obviously he's old enough to work. He's old enough to do things. So we put him to work. He does a variety of different things. But one of the cool things about being a business owner is that the IRS allows you to put $12,950 a year. You can pay your child that. So here's the real benefit, though, because that money that you pay your child is tax deductible to the business. So it's a tax deduction. And it's tax-free income to your child. Don't debate me on this, please. It's not debatable. So
you got on your red. You going to show Shotty today?
Slightly.
Like it.
So here's the thing. Why is this beneficial, right? Because you're going to have to give your child money anyway, right? If you're a good parent, you're going to have to give your child money anyway. So why not, instead of just giving them an allowance, why not actually pay them, have them work a job, right? Get to learn a business.
And bond.
So you get that camaraderie. You get them to learn. Now you get inner workings as far as a family and a business together, right? You're saving money by giving your child money now.
Absolutely.
Now, this is not just me giving you an allowance. Now I'm actually saving money because I'm paying you. But you can also put a portion of that into a Roth IRA, right? Invest it for your child. And now that money is growing tax-free. When they take it out for retirement, it's tax-free. Right? Or you can put it in an UTMA account and have it growing. So these are things where it's like little things like that. I spoke about this on the Breakfast Club. It's like you could put a couple $1,000s into a Roth IRA just for a couple of years. And the compound interest on that, millions of dollars.
Easily.
In 40 years, right? So it's like, the people are going to say, oh, well, it takes 40 years. Yeah. Well,
your kids are going to need money in 40 years.
You're not going to need money when you're 60?
Yes.
And
that money is going to actually take care of the parent.
In 40 years, they'll be 50.
Somebody had $1 million for you and said, you can't touch it until you're 60. Are you going to be mad about that?
At 20, maybe.
I'm just saying, as far as
but you shouldn't do anything
for it.
Oh,
you didn't do anything for, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is just extra. You still got money that you're making on your own. You're still living your life. It's just an extra added bonus.
And look how much of like an emotional cushion that gives you, like kind of like with the Iverson deal.
Exactly.
It was reported like he may have lost a bunch of money. Yeah, but it's like, at least in 20 years, you know it'll be there, so you have a cushion to take care of your family. And for my parents, the easiest win is to invest for your kids. 1,000%. If you just hold for 10, 15 years through these cycles, my God, like you can be up 2,000, 3,000%. You pick the right companies long term and don't touch it.
And when you do that, man, it alleviates your children from having financial trauma.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they don't have to wonder whether, like, yo, I can't do this because we can't afford that. Or I might have to sacrifice doing this because my family can't do, you know what I mean? It's just a different level of freedom that they have. And so they're able to explore and navigate through the world a little bit differently. And I feel like that becomes like one of those goals. As a parent, it's like I'm watching them just make decisions based because they want to try that.
And then another thing, like Derek Grace, I haven't really seen too much of his posts lately, but a couple years ago, he said something that was actually very insightful. His delivery wasn't the most compassionate, but it was actually some value in it when he was saying how, like, if I'm a business owner, right, and I work my whole life to start a business, and when my kid turns 16, they have to work at IHOP, that's my failure.
You failed. That's real.
Because it's like, if what am I working for having a business? You need a job. You're working for me.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get it out the mud, so you can go get it out the mud.
But it's not even that. It's not even just, it's just like your first priority is to your family. Right?
That's why most businesses
So it's like, if you want to work to make money, you're going to work for me. If you make a decision not to work for me for whatever reason, that's your own personal decision. Now you're on your own.
And you can't enjoy the benefits of the kingdom.
Exactly. But it's like,
but that's a conversation we just had, like with Cheryl on the last episode. It was like the succession plan.
Yes.
Right? Like, how often were they brought around it? Right? Because sometimes you want to pass it down and they may not be interested. But at what point did you show them the benefits of being part of this? Right? And show them, like, yo, this is the hard work that comes with it. And so it becomes a natural thing, right? With Don Peoples, where we see, like, we speak to Don, but when you speak to his son, it's like, yo, you can feel it. Like he's been around this, he's entrenched in this to the point where it's like, yo, he's becoming the most trusted advisor to his dad. And rightfully so, because the company, there's certainly going to be, at a point, there's going to be succession. Like, he needs to take over this. You can feel it.
Do you think some parents are not sharing or involving their kids, either because they don't like the business or they're using the business to escape from the responsibility of being a parent?
I think most businesses, unfortunately, are not businesses. They're hustles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you don't have an employee. You don't have a plan. You're not really even making money.
No systems, yeah.
So you're working, you're a self-employed employee.
Mm-hmm.
You're a self-employed employee. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Where you're working a job and you're pretty much, the only thing is you just don't have a boss. But that's it.
Yeah.
So A, you're not in a position to hire your child. But B, it's not appealing for the child to even be interested in doing that. Why would I want to do this?
Exactly.
This is not working.
Yeah, it's taking my dad away from me. It's taking my mom away from me all this time. They've had to work this hard. These are like, do I want to do that? Is that something that I want to aspire to do?
Yeah. And so it's like, all right, let's say my kid, since we're talking about him, he's already seeing this. So it's like, of course you would want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
What's your alternative?
Yeah.
Like, you want to work at the camp?
Yeah.
Or you want to go to London?
I want them clothes he have on.
You want to go to London or you want to work at the camp?
For real.
You make a decision.
Now it's be dripped out.
So it's like, at a certain point, that's not a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the exposure is important at a young age because ultimately you want your children to work in the business.
Absolutely.
Because, like, why not? Right? That's the real world. That's the real way to kind of build the generational wealth.
And working outside of
so here's the interesting part is like, that really could be your life story, right? Like, so you watched your dad. Was that your experience when you were watching your dad become an entrepreneur? Are you looking at it like, I want to do that?
Yeah, well, see, my situation is a little different because I saw every aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying, right?
The ups and downs
of it.
Now I see it. He's seeing a different.
Seeing all ups.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He's seeing all ups.
He's seen the highlight
reels.
He's
getting like the highlight YouTube version of it. What I'm saying, like, you've seen all aspects for it.
But to answer your question,
at any point did it deter you to say, like, maybe entrepreneur isn't for me? Or was like, yo, I'm getting to see the mistakes firsthand, so now I don't even have to make them because it becomes a blueprint.
Both. No, it never was a thing where entrepreneurship wasn't for me.
Okay.
Because I always saw the value in being your own boss. I'm watching him.
Joy.
Even if there's ups and downs in being an entrepreneur. So, but for me, the freedom, the time, because it's like my mom is a teacher.
Yeah.
So that's the exact opposite. She didn't have freedom. She didn't have time. She had to go to work. She couldn't miss a day.
Yeah.
But my dad had luxuries and freedom as far as his time.
Yeah.
So that, to me, I'm like, I always gotta be able to. Nobody can tell
time
me.
Inventory.
Somebody can tell me I can't go to lunch.
Yeah.
Or I can't go to my kid's basketball game because I gotta work overtime.
That's why you quit the jobs you had.
Yeah.
So, but ironically, nobody has to tell me that now because I can't go because I'm just not around. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you trade one thing for
another.
That's just the irony of life.
That'd be part of it. I don't think we talk about that though.
Yeah, and even seeing my dad, like, same thing, like, you see ups and downs, but the joy that you see an entrepreneur have, knowing that, like, you can have a bad quarter, and in 1 week a contract can come through and it changes everything. The joy and vigor that you have, it's like, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
When I saw other family members have more stable jobs and they work in the mill, but as soon as they got off work at 3, they complain from 3 to 9 at night.
Yeah, I'm that end of the spectrum. Like, I watched my parents go to work at 7 o'clock and they came home at 7 o'clock. And so it was like, yo, damn. I had that mentality like, yo, I can't go to a professional career where I have to work for 35, 40 years. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I always tell my pops, I'm like, yo, there's no guarantee that if you work there 40 years, there's no guarantee that I can even get an interview at that job. It doesn't grant me anything, and what it does do is take you out of the home more than you're in the home.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it was like, yo, damn, I wonder what that would be like for my kids.
Yeah.
And so I used to tell people all the time, like, yo, I'm not gonna be teaching for 25 years. They thought I was bugging out. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think 50 is gonna be that shit. Like, if I'm doing that at 50, something went wrong. They're like, oh, 50, you gotta retire at 65. I'm like, nah, 50. They're like, what? At the time, I'm 35. Telling people,
you gotta enjoy life now.
I taught for 10 years. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing. They're like, well, what happens at 50? I'm like, if I haven't figured it out by then I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Granted, we were doing other things to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I stopped being in the school district by 38.
Congrats.
Forget 50.
Vision is everything.
You see
and
what I'm saying?
you put,
It's watching them go to work all the time, and just being, it was like, damn, they working really hard, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They miss things. Like, I watched his dad come to basketball games, and my parents couldn't come to basketball games because they had to work, because they had to provide, which is like extremely grateful for. But it was like, what happens on the other end of that? That level of support, that level of being present in those things.
Yeah.
That's the freedom.
And we see it with our kids. That time together is the real bag. You can give the kid all the money in the world. Your kid wants time.
Yep.
I asked that, hey, you want to go here, want to go there? He wants me to watch Kalis on YouTube and watch Mr. Beast or watch Fortnite. I'm like, oh, we can go to the Rockets game and be front court. He's like, let's play Fortnite. Yeah. The time with your kid is the real bag. Time is
we on a Naruto phase in my house, so I'm doing a lot of training right now.
Got you. Got you.
How were you able to replace the work of 8 people with ChatGPT? And what is the law of 3 that you are using to be more efficient?
So for me, the law of 3 is to focus on the 3 most important tasks of the day by 3 p.m. So like no meetings, no distractions. And for me, that's given me like an incredible multiple. I know there's return on investment, but we need to start looking at return on time. But I want to do a test and see like if I can take all the functionality of the virtual assistants, operating officers, and people who are helping in the business. And I literally just mapped out every position in ChatGPT, every role, and start playing with the software over like the last couple of weeks. And I've been able to churn out like an entire follow-up sequence for clients, research. So I'm pro hiring people, because I know when I posted, some people was like, you need to hire more people and you can't be this evil capitalist. I'm like, I'm a kind capitalist at times, right?
Kind capitalist.
But I think, and I said this last year, we're entering an era of ultra efficiency. So like now when I hire people, I want to show them how to use AI, ChatGPT, Jasper, and some other tools to make them be able to replace 8 employees themselves. So out of 1 person, I'm getting a return of 8. So I've always talked about I want to put $1 in to make 5. For anyone I work with now, they have to be able to do the work of 8 people. So, and we see what AB do the work of 15 people.
100 people.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that people don't understand. Like, everybody says like you need to hire more people, and I'm not opposed to that. But why?
Right person.
But why?
Yes.
Because once again, you can't understand something until you're in the other person's shoes. Mm-hmm. It's hard to understand something until you're in the other person's shoes.
Yeah.
I remember watching somebody at work one time, and I'm never an employee. I'm always self-employed. Even when I had no employees, I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
So I'm watching somebody at a desk, and this is not during lunch break. Mm-hmm. This is during 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And then they're on Amazon.
Buying it up.
You don't understand, like, that hurt me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even paying the person, because I'm looking at it like, there's an entrepreneur that's not spending time with his family.
Yes.
That's making sure that he's going to pay his employees.
And take care of payroll.
Because you got to pay your employees before you pay yourself.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he's sacrificing his time with his family. Mm-hmm. He's sacrificing the money that he's earning to pay his employees. Mm-hmm. And their number one priority is to do as least work as possible.
Absolutely.
I've heard people say, like, the goal of this job is to do the least work as possible.
To not get fired.
Oh, I see it every day, bro.
So
every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, how is that something that you understand? You want to champion, right? Because it doesn't matter to you, because it's not coming out of your pocket.
Yeah.
But when it comes out of your pocket, it's going to feel different. It's like a child. A child never is going to appreciate money until they have to earn it themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When they got to earn it themselves, they're not going to waste it.
See, like, it is even more personal, because I'm watching that in education. So, like, you watching at somebody's desk, they're like, yeah, it's an important job or important task, and they shopping on Amazon Prime and all that. But I'm watching somebody do that in front of someone's children.
Wow.
On a daily basis, right?
That's
like,
deep, yeah.
And so, like, you watching it, and you know the detriment that it's causing.
The impact it's going to have, yeah.
And you know it, and it's just like, what can you do?
Yeah.
Because that person might be tenured, or they might know the assistant principal, or it's and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, you're really depriving this kid of education, number one. Number two, they're never going to have this experience again. Mm-hmm. You'll probably teach 1st or 2nd grade again next year, 10 years down the line, you're probably doing the same thing. that kid's only going to have one chance to be 6 or 7 years old.
And depending on how it goes, it may affect the
long
next
term,
5-6 years of education.
Forever.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's personal, man, when people do things.
But let me ask you this about ChatGPT. So what exactly are you using? You're using ChatGPT,
the pay version, yeah,
to answer emails?
Answer email, create emails, create invitations, do research, like anything that I would have an employee or an assistant do, I literally funneled through there.
And you go into ChatGPT, you play around with it, you type in this is this, and then they come back with a response, and then you say, okay, this needs to change a little bit until you get it right.
And format it, yeah.
And then once you get
even
it right,
not to cut you off, but even like an email, like on average, I may send out 40 emails a week. I'm up to like 290 now.
290.
Just from like going through, and they're all custom. So like when I was sending messages back and forth with a couple people, I'm like, hey, this is the reply. Can you put this in? Ryan also put me on a tool called Canary. So if you go in Canary, you type CCC, the Copilot will automatically like draft a response for you. You have to make a couple changes. And that's when I started playing around with the data and saw like in 3.0, it would give you some information about investing. Now they scrubbed all of that data. So when I'm telling people like because you can access live information in ChatGPT if you're on the enterprise side, but you can't on our side yet. So at one point, they would call out certain levels for the market for you to invest in. Now they're giving a blanket answer that you can't invest at a certain level. But I think what all employees and entrepreneurs need to realize, like the era of being inefficient is dead. And the first people that are going to get affected by this change in AI are Black employees. It's going to be a tool to push us out. And going back to your point about not being efficient, like I told Tyler the other day, I'm like, you notice we never get any questions or concerns about the stock market when it's like 2 a.m. and everybody's at the club. It's always Monday at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I'm like, you're not even an investor. Why are you worried about what VO is doing right now? So we have to be more efficient. And I think the companies that are not, it's going to see a huge impact on their bottom line. Yep. And the companies that use the AI and tools and better systems are going to be the ones that ultimately take over like these next 3 or 4 years.
All right. Dead or alive.
Let's do it, man. DOA. It's becoming sort of a thing, and people kind of like this segment. So we're going to talk about a few companies. We're going to talk about strong vital signs or if they need life support. We talked about ChatGPT.
Yes.
So the first company you got the laptop out ready.
You know, I have to be ready.
So let's talk about NVIDIA. Obviously, we saw they...
Can we have our little moment to brag?
You do it for me, man.
No, listen. Very seldom will Troy I vehemently tell you. Shout out to the group text.
Shout out to everybody that's in the Market Mondays chat. So you remember our first call, and I told you once a month we're going to give you an option call that we're in. I was pretty adamant about the call that we should have been in. It involved NVIDIA. And obviously after they reported,
investing and trading has considerable risks. Please consult your advisor.
Yeah.
Options and futures is not for everyone. But if you listened,
congratulations.
Yes.
If you didn't, also congratulations. At least you heard the information, so you know that it is worth listening to. So let's start with vital signs, dead or alive, NVIDIA. I already know where we're going, but go ahead.
NVIDIA alive and well, and I think over this next year or two, they'll be one of the most important stocks in the stock market for sure.
Absolutely, especially when we talk about ChatGPT and we talk about AI. I want to add a little context to it. So as far as GPUs, and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago about the difference between GPUs and CPUs. GPUs is what NVIDIA produces, graphic cards. And so when we're talking about AI, this is the number one. They're the number one producer of GPUs for artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So whether you're talking about Microsoft using ChatGPT or you're talking about Google using ChatGPT, they're both going to be using NVIDIA.
Yep.
And so this is going to be a force. So make sure, please, to have that. If it's not, you're not looking at it, make sure to put it on your watch list.
Yeah, and I have NVIDIA going at 340.67 in like 18 months.
That's a strong buy call. All right, let's go to ticker ANET, Arista Networks, is an American computer networking company designed to sell multi-layer networking switches and deliver software-defined networking for large data centers.
That guy triggered me when he said I only talked about Apple and Microsoft. So I'm going to my bag. I like this one. ANET, the ticker. This one is alive. It is a sleeper. If you go back to 2016, it was at $13.13. It's not $135.53, and it should get to like $173 in about 12 months. So yeah, I love this one.
So we got strong vital signs here. Let's go to ticker ENPH. Company is In-Phase Energy. So they develop and manufacture solar micro inverters, battery energy storage, and EV charging stations primarily for residential customers. What's your thoughts? Strong vital signs, life support.
Yeah, I like In-Phase. They probably will fall to $95 and 55 cents. They're currently at 198. Long term, I love them. So going back to what you were saying earlier, if you hold for 5 years, you'll be good. But if you're just buying it today because we talked about it, huge mistake. Wait till 95, 55. But this company is great long term.
Yeah, you're thinking about it. We're talking about the EV space. We already talked about states that are making it mandated that electric vehicles are the way of transportation. California being one, New York being another by 2035.
Yep.
Residential, obviously, meaning people in their homes or apartment buildings. This sounds like something we definitely should keep an eye on.
It was at 65 cents in 2017.
Times have changed.
Oh, baby.
Times have changed.
Oh, baby.
This is one, it was an interesting one. ELF, all right, ELF. They are a multi-brand beauty company that offers cruelty-free cosmetics and skincare products. Talk to us about it.
I love this one. I mean, shout out to the ladies who keep their face beat. Y'all be glowing, you know, little makeup setting spray and all that. Listen, Fenty Beauty has not went public. ELF is a good secondary company to invest in for the long term until Rihanna decides that she wants to put Fenty Beauty publicly on the market. I love this one. It's good. I wouldn't buy it right now, but this one is very strong.
Strong one. So you got strong vital signs. All right, let's go with this one. Ticker ISRG, Intuitive Surgical, a corporation that develops, manufactures, and markets robotic products designed to improve clinical outcomes of patients through minimally invasive surgery.
This is one of my favorites for years. I'm concerned about this one. I'm not going to say it's dead, but we need a little checkup on the vital signs. I think it'll get to 125 probably. It's at 231 now. They've had some trouble over the last 3 or 4 quarters. I like them, keep them on the watch list, but I wouldn't invest in them right now.
All right, so we got life support warnings there. All right, this is one of the companies we spoke about a lot on Market Mondays in the cybersecurity sector. Fortinet, ticker FTNT, cybersecurity solution, company that focuses on physical firewalls, antivirus software, amongst many other things. Talk to us about Fortinet.
I love this one. If you look back in 2010, it was at $1.48. It is now at $58.86. The space is only going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
The need for the services are going to only grow. I like the company. In comparison to CrowdStrike, which has fallen a lot,
definitely has.
I like FTNT a hell of a lot better. And they should get to like $88.39 in maybe 13, 14 months.
Where would we put Fortinet in terms of cybersecurity companies? I know we got Zscaler. You said CrowdStrike. Are we top 5 in it? Top 3?
We've been having a lot of top 5 debates. I'll say it's Paul George. It's like dominant. I wouldn't lean on it as a primary. Shout out to Paul George. I want no smoke.
Got you.
But it's a good B player. It's a good secondary player.
Still an all-star?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Let's go to this next company, and I'm going to reach out to them because I don't know why we haven't got Rashad a sponsorship or some type of partnership branding deal. Let's go to Bumble. Ticker BM.
No, I'm going to talk for you. No deal needed. Right? Bumble, I love the founder. I love the premise of the app, but I'm going to say this one is on life support.
Life support.
Yeah. Went from $84.80 is currently at $23. And if we're going to be real, Bumble and Tinder has a great competitor in Meta, Instagram. Listen, I'm going to speak.
Go ahead.
If I had to invest in Meta, which I've been critical of, but I'm trying to help turn around, if I had to invest in them or Bumble, who would you guys rather invest in?
Meta.
Of course.
No, Instagram is a dating app.
Absolutely. That's my point.
Right. That's what I was thinking. That's
for free. Yeah. So if your DMs are flooded, shout to y'all. You know, I may have met a love interest or 2 in my life via DM, hypothetically.
I love you.
I've never been on Bumble doing that. So if you have a competitor that has a freemium version, right, with way more exposure internationally, no paid subscriptions, and majority of the American or Western society is using that platform 8 times more than Bumble, there's really no reason to invest in it. I love the founder, but this one isn't a good stock to invest in.
It speaks to the part of having a competitive moat.
Yes.
This, obviously, you just named 2 companies that are competitors.
Yeah.
There's no real competitive advantage that they would have over those 2, obviously, from a standpoint of user space or user on the platform. They can't compete with that.
No, they can't.
And the DMs, obviously.
And just even in our own space, Match is a huge competitor in its own.
Another one.
That one is falling apart. Match was at 182. It fell. It's at $41.34. The volume on, like, my grandmother used to always tell me there's no romance without finance. So since we're in a recession, I think it is having an adverse effect on people willing to pay to meet someone when you can get on.
Anybody using Bumble in the room? No? Bumble? Tinder? No?
Don't everyone speak at once.
Match?
You on Tinder?
You on Tinder?
Your automatic swipe right? Instant bucket, huh? Got you.
Captain Cash. Let's do two more.
Boy.
Robinhood. We saw what they meant to the retail investors during the pandemic. And we've seen how much they've fallen since that time. We sat down with the CEO, Vlad Tenev.
Great.
Very intelligent dude. What's your thoughts on Robinhood?
You're nobody till somebody kills you.
Life support.
Nothing but slow singing and flower bringing. If this burglar alarm start ringing. That's Biggie, AB. Robinhood's at $9.59. I know they have the relationship with Citadel, but there is no competitive advantage right now to invest in Robinhood. You can even argue Coinbase would maybe be a better fit. And the entire sector is like just under attack from regulation. Binance is finally going through some issues with the government. They're going to regulate the hell out of crypto. Robinhood, I would not touch.
Yeah.
If you have not paid your visit to Robinhood in the hospital, go get your affairs in order. Go say your little last wishes. I don't think they're going to go out of business, but I don't think that they will ever be back at the prominence in the next 5 or 6 years that they were once in 2020.
Yeah, the crypto space obviously being in decline doesn't help that. But from a standpoint of, let's just throw out the word acquisition, do you see somebody futuristically looking at Robinhood as something to acquire? Is it worth acquiring?
E-Trade should. And listen, I'm not caping. I think Meta should buy Robinhood.
Okay.
Hi, Martin. Hi, Alvin.
From a standpoint of the accessibility of how user-friendly it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Because imagine doing that Robinhood phenomenon if they could have had the power and the platform of Instagram to help push Robinhood at the same time. Regulatory nightmare, but they probably could have onboarded users over to Robinhood. I don't know. I haven't seen a Robinhood screenshot in probably 8 months.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so they had a hot moment. They made it a hot line. Didn't make it a hot song. You know. So Citadel got what they needed to out of it, but it would be a good acquisition for Meta, for sure.
All right, Airbnb, ticker ABNB.
I actually like Airbnb more than I do Robinhood, which is... and I just saw the clip that came back up about the cereal boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tough business to invest in. I wouldn't touch it right now. I'm not going to say it's dead or on life support. Airbnb is like the 10th man on the bench. Probably can hoop, but we're not going to let him start. We're not going to say no names because too many people be watching now. I got in trouble that one time talking about Mookie Blaylock. All his cousins messaged me. My brother, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mookie was tough, bro.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Mookie Blaylock.
I want no problems. So no, I wouldn't touch Airbnb at all, but I do think they will. If we have a lower inflation environment and spending goes back up, I think that business will be sustainable. I wouldn't invest in it now long term. It's not dead, but I wouldn't touch it.
All right, let's do one more. Ticker IBOC. International Bank Shares Corporation. They're engaged in providing a diversified range of commercial and retail banking services in its main banking branch facilities located in North, South, Central, and Southeast Texas and south of Oklahoma. So most of us in the Northeast have probably never heard of the company. The people who live, obviously, in those states probably have. What's your thoughts?
IBOC is Kawhi on the Spurs. Like,
really?
If I go back to 96, what albums came out then? It Was Written, All Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
$4.70. It's at $47.52. Not a growth stock, but very, very little decline. 2009, it was at $8.97. So you're talking about a easy multiple of 5-6x. It's one of those companies you never have to touch, never have to worry about. You do have to buy it at the right time. It is a sleeper that most people have not talked about. Very slow growth, but very steady that you don't have. It's one of the ones you were talking about. You can put it away for your kids or yourself and never have to worry about it. Like, we don't hear any crazy off the court stuff with Kawhi. Every time we see him, it's like 22, 8, and 8. It's one of those companies that are incredibly reliable.
So we got steady vital signs.
Yep.
All right.
I like it.
There you have it.
Earn Your Love, sponsored by Bumble. Coming.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Can I interview you and ask you a question? I know you can't reveal what y'all revealed to me yesterday.
No, we can't.
I'm just going to say,
no, we can't.
Get your tickets to Invest Fest now.
No, we cannot.
But in setting up those relationships, we're having a conversation at the table. Like, what's a good networking tip that you've given that a lot of people take for granted that has helped you? I don't want to put the projection of like 3x or 5x the business in a year.
Well, I could tell the Dame Dash story.
Okay.
Because once again, him and 19 Keys are doing an event in Oakland. So the Dame Dash story is a very important story to tell. So Dame Dash, cultural icon, everybody knows who he is, right?
Yes.
So somebody,
cultural GOAT?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So somebody that we looked up to and somebody that we wanted to have on the program as soon as we started the program.
Mm-hmm.
So we get introduced to another cultural icon, Kenny Burns, through Dave from United Masters. Shout out to Dave. So Dave is somebody who was listening to Earn Your Leisure early.
Gotcha.
Championed Earn Your Leisure. Let me give you a timeline of events here. So Dave is somebody that listens to Earn Your Leisure early, like in the first 20 episodes, right?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He meets Troy at a networking event. They kick it off. They introduce themselves to each other. He tells them that he really likes us.
Time out. How many networking events do you go to?
I'm in them
every day.
Ian, so like this is key because I'm glad you got.
Please write this down.
You came with us to the award show.
Yes,
we're talking about. I'm sure. I said, stand here. I told you, I'm gonna scour the room.
Yes.
I'm gonna scan this entire room and tell you where we need to be.
Yep.
It's the same thing that happened that night. I scoured the room.
Got you.
I saw where Biggs was, and Biggs was somebody that obviously shout out to Biggs. We wanted to get on the show at the time. I had just made the error of saying like, yo, we'll do it the next time, and it never happened. I said, oh, he's standing there. Let me make my way over there.
Yeah.
I see Sherry Bryant. While I'm talking to Sherry Bryant, I meet Dave.
Yeah.
Dave is like, hey, I work for UM. I love you guys. We got 25 episodes, bro.
Yeah.
He's like,
That's
yo,
dope.
y'all are game changers. He introduced us to Benny Pugh. He's like, we need to connect. We need to connect. I need y'all to come to the United Masters office. That relationship spawns into, hey, anybody you need on your show that I can have, like that I can help you with, my network is your network.
Lesson number 1, put out the content. Lesson number 2, always be networking. I know y'all think we just be partying.
Nah.
No?
Yeah.
And then continuously, like how often do you follow up with your contacts or relationships?
No, you got to finish the story.
Okay,
You're not even, because the Dave gets to Kenny. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, before Kenny.
Yeah.
Let's rewind this story. Dave, there's 3 things to keep in mind with this play. So Dave brings us to United Masters early. This was before the DJ Envy interview. We were about to drop the DJ Envy interview, which is like episode 33, I think. And United Masters wanted to work with us, but they just didn't have an idea of what they really wanted to do yet at that time. So nothing happened, but it was a good intro relationship. Keep that in your mind because that plays a part later on. This plays a part to Market Mondays also. So then Dave, we go to Atlanta and we shoot a bunch of content in Atlanta for 1 weekend. So Dave was like, well, if you're in Atlanta, you should connect with Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns would be a great person for you to interview. We connect with Kenny Burns.
Icon.
We interview him. We build a great relationship with Kenny Burns, right? Yeah. He's been a great resource to us. We go to LA during COVID for a month. And we're out here for a month, and we're saying, okay, who do we want to interview while we're out here? Dame Dash. He lives out here. How is that going to happen? Relationships.
Yeah.
Called Kenny. I called Kenny. Like, yo, we out in LA for a month. We want to interview Dame. You think you can make it happen? He puts me in a group chat with Dame Dash and was like, yo, my brother, Earn Your Leisure. They want to interview you. You know what I'm saying? Da-da-da. Dame like, cool, let's do it. We interviewed Dame Dash. From that interview, build a relationship with Dame Dash. Now, Dame Dash does a variety of different things. He does the 100th episode for us. He does Invest Fest for us. He does assets over liabilities. Does a variety of different things. Keys has a high admiration for Dame Dash,
Always has.
right? During the time in COVID, we also met 19 Keys for the first time. We interviewed him during our COVID run in LA. So I said, okay, Keys, he's been wanting to interview Dame Dash for a long time. I introduced them a while ago.
Hold on real quick. You left another great part. Where did we interview Keys at?
At Dame Dash's studio. He let us use his studio when we was out there. So finally, the time was right to make the introduction, a formal introduction for 19 Keys and Dame Dash.
What made it the right time for you? Because I think it's a big lesson for the audience and timing and not introducing somebody too early when they're not ready.
Dame Dash wanted to do an event with us. We didn't really have the capacity to do the event, and I just felt like it would be better suited if 19 Keys, because we had done so much stuff with Dame already. We already interviewed him 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of beating a dead horse. Felt 19 Keys got the hottest show in the world. He's an extremely interesting person. His conversation would be different than our conversation. So felt that it would be a better suited conversation for 19 Keys and Dame to have.
Yeah.
It all was around an event.
Yeah.
Before the interview, made the connection. Me, Dame, and 19 Keys spoke on the phone for 4 hours. He told us stories about Rockefeller, everything, for 4 hours. So it was like, all right, we're going to do an event. But it's like, all right, before you do an event, why don't y'all do an interview to build the buzz
and
for an event?
Yeah.
They do an interview. The interview's currently at like 1.5 million views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then that leads to them actually doing an event now in Oakland. Now, reversing back to this Dave and United Masters situation, this is where the Market Mondays thing ties in. So eventually United Masters is in a position to do stuff with us. And now United Masters has another arm to their business called Translation, where that's a marketing arm, and they work with a variety of Fortune 500 companies, because that's how Steve Stout really became
one of
big.
the greatest advertisers of all time.
So they come and they say, okay, what's up with this show called Market Mondays? So this show is a cultural phenomenon. We talk about investing, Ian Dunlap, it's myself, Troy. We got the whole vibe. It's everybody watches it every Monday. It's one of these things. They're like, all right, well, what if we could bring Ally as a sponsor? How would that work? Well, this is what we can potentially do. So then Ally comes and sponsors Market Mondays. That leads to us building a relationship with United Masters even further, and Ally even further. So that leads to doing other events with Ally and United Masters, Art Basel, South by Southwest, New York Fashion Week. This year, when the Ally deal had ran its course, they still wanted to be in business with Market Mondays. But they didn't know exactly what they wanted to do. Came back, looked at the globe, got an idea. Got an idea. Why don't we do a world tour? And we hit 4 countries, 3 continents. It's never been done before. Ally, you can be on the ground with us, and you can be a part of history. You're interested? Let's do it. United Masters is brokering the situation. This leads to where we are now at March 11th.
Novo Theater. Get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
Yes.
And then we're going to Toronto. And then we're going to London. And then we're going to Chicago. And then we're going to Ghana. The reason why I wanted to tell that story is that it all comes back to one relationship. Dave.
Shout out to Dave Mojito.
So think about this. Dame Dash and us. Very fruitful. Dame Dash and 19 Keys. Very fruitful. Kenny Burns and us. Very fruitful. I was on Kenny Burns' show every week for 2 years.
Easily.
Very fruitful. Ally and Earn Your Leisure. A very fruitful relationship. Ally and Market Mondays. Very fruitful relationship. A world tour. All comes down to one interaction with 2 people at a networking event.
And doing the work first.
That's it.
All my entrepreneurs show up every day. That's why you'll hear me ask 20 times a year, how many days do y'all miss putting out content? None. The answer is show up even if you don't like my take. I love when traders be like, man, I don't like how you deliver the information, but I know you can actually trade. It's literally just showing up every single day day in, day out. Even with the traveling, like for those of you who are introverts, I don't always want to get up and travel, but I'm learning too, like the Bill Clinton thing. You have to go out, shake hands, and kiss babies. People need to feel your energy in person and be like, oh, you're actually real, and I like who you are, and I feel something good about you. You cannot get that off in an Instagram DM or a Bumble message. People need to see you in person.
But what if he doesn't go to the event?
That's a good point, yeah.
What if he loses the number? What if he doesn't text him back?
Yeah.
What if he does brush him off?
Yeah.
What if he does walk right past him?
Because it's not always the most famous person.
What if he he had an argument with his wife the hour before and can't get himself together to have a conversation? Butterfly effect.
Absolutely.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions
lost
from one conversation.
That's what I'm saying. It's and you got to treat everybody with that same like I know like people walk now. You started this Troy Joy thing, but now every time I see somebody outside, they like, yo, this shit is really real. I'm like, they're like, yo, why you always smile? I'm like, yo, bro, I'm really happy.
Yeah,
like, this is real happiness. But the relationships too. I'll give you another one, like the Steve Harvey situation. Like we were at iHeart, we had a talent agent. Shout out to Nicole. Like they probably got us maybe 10 guests throughout our time. So I mean, shout out to them. No disrespect to them. I'm talking to Nicole every week just because we have I'm getting a personal relationship with her.
Yeah.
So we got a rapport. So anytime there's ever a chance that somebody wants to do another show, she's gonna throw our show in there as well.
Yeah.
And so like she's telling me about these other people and like, yo, if it happens, it happens, no problem. She says, yo, I know this kid Tabiti. He's with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's like an uncle to me. Would you guys be interested? Of course. Yeah, make it happen. This is in July.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, yeah, make it happen. She's like, no, this is something big. I'm trying to get Earn Your Leisure to his golf tournament. It's the first time he's ever doing it. It's in Abu Dhabi. I remember telling him, he was like, man, let's see if it happens. It doesn't happen, right? She calls me, was like, yo, it was kind of last minute. We couldn't get it done. But I'm still going to give you this kid Tabiti's number. I want you to talk to him because I think we can get this. Is going to be magical. Text Tabiti. He's like, yo, I know who you are. I love y'all. SH loves y'all.
Really dope.
We got to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real. But it goes back to just having a positive rapport with Nicole for weeks.
Yeah, before.
Every week I'm on the phone with her, talking about numbers, talking about the show, talking about, yo, can you get this person? Can you get this person? It led to the fruitfulness of having the Tabiti number. Tabiti led to us scheduling Steve Harvey. Yeah. Obviously, we know what Steve Harvey's done as far as doing the episode, being in the number one
Super
episode.
Fruitful.
I mean, it's the episode that everyone refers to now when they see us, right? Like
and Rick Ross episode.
Yeah, the Rick Ross is big. Like Chris Paul, first thing he says, yo, I watched that Steve Harvey. Big boy, yo, I watched that Steve Harvey. Like they watched, that's the episode. Yeah. But it also led to a partnership. Obviously, he partners with us in investment. It led to a fruit relationship. So like just two interactions with people that if they walked in the room, you would have no idea who they were. But they play an important role in the infrastructure of events that led to some of the things we've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another thing that comes from that Dave tree is the Africa play. So when we were going to Nigeria,
fact.
The only reason why we went to Nigeria, we were supposed to go to South Africa. We took a group of like 18 people and we went to Egypt, but we were supposed to go to South Africa. The South Africa thing got derailed because they had a wave of COVID that hit the country. So we had to pick a different country. So we picked Egypt. We're like, all right, well, since we're going to Egypt already, we should probably just go to another country before we go to Egypt.
Yeah.
So we decided to go to Nigeria because looking at our analytics, Nigeria is the biggest market outside of America. So it's like, okay, we don't know anybody in Nigeria. It just so happens that Dave from United Masters, he knows a guy named Bizzle. Shout out to Bizzle.
Yes.
Bizzle knows everybody. Bizzle's the plug. Shout out to Asa. Shout out to the whole team. This is Davido's like inner circle. So when we get to Lagos, they take care of our visas. They take care of our security. They tell us what hotel to stay in.
Yeah.
They tell us what restaurant to go to. They bring us to Davido's home. We interview Davido.
Yeah.
You see, this all comes from that.
Yeah.
They're
going
to be looking for Dave.
After it'll be all those LinkedIn.
I mean, going to be looking for Dave after.
And to bring it back to the equities market, it's no different than when Elon goes to the White House or Tim Cook built a relationship for a long time with, like, relationships matter so much, but look for companies that are building these relationships 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
15 years down the line. And even at the shows, people like, Ashley, I know you hate it when you got to drag me off stage. We don't know who knows who, though.
And this is the last thing I'll say about this. This is why having a show, a podcast, whatever you want to call it, is a good idea, even if it's not successful. It's a great networking tool.
Yeah, it is.
Market Mondays is a little different because we don't interview people. We got to get back to interviewing more people.
Yeah.
But you don't know how many people that we've built relationships with just from having them on the show.
Absolutely.
There's a tremendous networking opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because now you're bringing people on the show. People generally like to talk about themselves.
Yes.
Even the most humble people like to talk about themselves because very rarely do they get asked about themselves, especially if they're not celebrities.
Yeah.
So now you're giving them a platform to speak about themselves. They're going to love you for life just for that. But then you're giving them exposure. Like we have a lot of people that watch us.
Yeah.
So they're getting exposure. So now the relationship that comes from having people on your show.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's kind of priceless.
Yeah. And we've seen it back in the day with Arsenio Hall and Jay Leno. Like, it's the same model. It's just given a different term. But the most important thing for you guys to do is, like, take this wisdom and apply it. We were talking about this last night. Like, we're giving you secrets in real time. Like, I won't even tell you how much I'm saving just by using ChatGPT versus paying. 6 figures in savings, though.
And this is things where it's like, all right, it's cool to say invest in NVIDIA this week and do this call on Apple and Google. Okay, I get it. But honestly, this is more beneficial because this is stuff that's going to last a lifetime, not just 1 week in the stock market or one play. Like learning these skills, learning how to get referrals. It's extremely beneficial.
Yeah, do them a combination.
Learning how to nurture a relationship. Yeah. It's an extremely beneficial tool. Learning what not to say when you meet somebody. It's extremely beneficial. Yeah. Learning what to say when you meet somebody. These are things that no matter what business you're in, no matter what field, no matter where you're at in the world, no matter whether you're 20 or whether you're 70, this is things that can make you millions of dollars. So it's not just stories. It's not just us telling stories. There's actually extremely valuable life lessons and business lessons that you can actually learn from and make a lot of money.
And they're happening to us in real time.
In real time.
Every week we're coming back because these things are actually happening. These people are real people, right? Like you're gonna learn from they're living through experience. That's what this is.
Even me with Meta, when the first time I got introduced and walked in, it was a little tense, right? Because I was talking crazy for a few weeks. I was like, hey, I've been on the platform since 2005. What's the number one thing I can do to help the company? Guard got let down, and they just opened up. Same way when you interview someone. You're like, what can I do to help? They'll tell you. They mapped out, hey, what can we do better here? We're having some sticking points here. We're having a harder time connecting with the Black audience. Like, I want to find a way to streamline the products. What do you think is broken about Instagram? Because we heard your commentary. How did you know that the hedge funds were going to attack us? Asking someone, what can I do to help, is always my go-to. And then deliver with the help. And don't ask for anything. The money's going to come back from someone else. It always won't be the person that you help, but they'll refer somebody to you for sure.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Coinbase. Let's talk about Coinbase. Coinbase reports a net loss of $2.6 billion in 2022 in revenue and is down 75% year over year.
Yeah.
Do we think that Coinbase has seen its best days?
I've learned from the Terrence J take, which was a good thing to record, to deliver things in a kind fashion when people are fans of a brand. I do think the Coinbase is going to have some trouble. And I've said this before, brokerages historically have never been a great investment to hold for the long period of time. So we don't know anyone who's been like, man, I got rich as hell off. I invested in Charles Schwab back in 1999 and I made all my money there. Because the margins end up being so thin there. I think when Coinbase, and we're seeing Binance go through it as well, when you put all of your leverage into one asset solely, unless you own that asset, it's a huge mistake. So they put everything to ride on a crypto into an unloyal fan base. Now, if they could have found a way to make them incredibly loyal, because the thing with the meme stock, they were like, that era was like the mumble rap ringtone era, where people were just like hopping around to anything that was hot at that moment, but no one was sticking around. And as a result, Coinbase has seen precipitous decline in revenue, stock price. So I think they'll be in trouble for a while. And I like Brian, but I don't see what competitive advantage they have in the market
That, I mean,
at all.
When you look at it, that's the first thing that came to my mind. What is the competitive advantage, right? If we're talking about the cryptocurrency space, I feel like Coinbase used to be the place where it was like, it's the safest place to, if you want to invest in crypto, until we see horror stories of people getting hacked.
Yes.
And it's like, well, maybe this isn't the safest place.
Yes.
But what separates it from all these other, brokerages where we can invest?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find
there isn't
a
one
competitive advantage that they have. And so if cryptocurrency, obviously, is maybe crypto winter, even though Bitcoin has gone up to 23,000 when it was from down like maybe 16.9.
Mm-hmm.
That correlation to just that coin, to have that much power on the stock price, I mean, I just don't feel like if the business is built around that, how it could be long-term beneficial for your brand or your company.
It's not. And especially when you're not investing heavily. Now, if they had 70% of their own assets tied to Bitcoin, I will understand it a little bit more. And they actually like believed in what they were preaching. I feel like a lot of companies in 2020, when we had that gap when everyone was excited, they were telling people what they wanted to hear to get them to be a part of their community so that they can benefit from the revenue drive. And I don't have any issues with Coinbase for everyone listening, but like I never got an email from Coinbase saying, hey, let me help you. Let me teach you how to invest, teach you how to trade. Like even if we would have had, I thought like if we had a brokerage, we could have put some pressure on Binance and Coinbase because they weren't actually teaching anything. Like imagine with this show, with the prices that I've called and y'all platform, if we had a brokerage, you don't think we could have taken down Coinbase?
Competitive.
It been game, set, match.
Even from the standpoint of regulation, like we had a call the other day with somebody in the space, and they're talking about regulation.
Yeah.
At some point, what stops E-Trade from deciding at some point when this is regulated to a point that we have cryptocurrency now?
Yeah.
Or Charles Schwab or Fidelity, we now have it,
and there's way more trust there.
Now, what happens to a Coinbase?
It's tough. Put in chat, what is a competitive advantage? Because I know everyone thinks that I hate crypto. I don't. When I'm looking at a company, if I can't clearly define what makes this better, so if I can't clearly tell you what makes Tupac better than Kendrick, I have no case. I can name you 37 songs. You know what I'm saying? Drake versus Meek. You know what I mean? I can go back to back real quick. World tour, not a girls tour, right? Get your tickets. No, don't cut that out. Novo Theater. Get your tickets March 11th. But if you can't say why you're investing in a company and they're clearly better than everyone, Google has the #1 advertising business on the history of Earth since Jesus Christ walked the face of the earth. It's a good reason to invest in.
That's a fact. And so, Novo Theater, this is why. So that Dave story, the one thing I forgot to mention in that story, the reason why you should go to Novo Theater, you're going to learn a lot. Are you going to be able to meet me? I don't know. I can't guarantee that. But you're going to be there with 1,500 people.
Yes.
The odds of you meeting somebody is extremely high.
You may meet your Dave there.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the one of the most underrated things about these events. You know how many people came to InvestFest and changed their life because of who they met at InvestFest? They didn't meet Steve Harvey.
Yep.
They didn't meet Tyler Perry. They met Richard.
Yep.
They met Bob.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's who you need to
and they're 6 figures together.
Network across.
Yeah.
Be in a room with like-minded people. If it's 1,500 people in a room that are paying money, it doesn't matter if they're paying $50, $100, it doesn't matter. They've paid money.
Yep.
When you pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know that. When you don't pay, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Absolutely.
When you pay attention. You pay $50 to get into the room. That means something. You drove an hour. That means something. 1,500 people. You don't think that there's like-minded people that's in that room?
Yeah.
That are looking to make moves, let alone there's probably very successful. Our guest list is crazy.
Yeah.
Very successful people. Yeah. Some you might know, some you might not know.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a position to introduce yourself to that person, to say, hey, what do you do? How can I help? Everything that you've been hearing us talk about, now it's like you've been practicing. Now put it to action.
Yep. And I'm going to say it again. Bring your pitch decks to the show. I know y'all got mad about the don't pick my brain. Bring your pitch deck. I'm surprised at the number of people when these shows happen, they don't have the deck ready or product demo ready. And I'm like, bring it. I'll sit even at InvestFest. I'll cut you a check there. Chris Senegal, the only one who turned my check away. He's like, no, I don't need it right now, brother. You're cooking. Proud of you. Nah, we'll get together in a couple
your
weeks.
money's no
Yeah. So
Novo Theater, man, go to the link in this description. Go to the website, Market Mondays World Tour, and get your tickets, man. I don't see why you wouldn't get your tickets. Like I said, it's all of the VIP tickets and the lower seats are sold out. But here's the thing. It's a theater, so there's no bad seats in the arena.
No.
yeah,
And there's tickets that's available right now for $50.
that's insane. Because
What else?
if it was up to me, it'd be $500 a piece.
So it's like, it's $50.
Minimum.
Like, why would you not make a $50 investment in your future?
Absolutely.
Why would you not make a $50
We're going to do an after party?
That's on the table.
Show up. You may get to meet a
It's
Dave.
on the table. You never know.
you never
You
know.
never know.
You never
And,
know.
Never know.
and I will say this. Let's go to this segment. What did you do this week segment? So, shout out to the NAACP Awards
Yes.
for the consideration. We did not win, unfortunately, but congratulations to Kev on stage. There was some lessons learned from our defeat, but I'll say this first. My drip report, it's become a thing. And
You should say it, though.
Like what?
what you want me to lie to you?
It has,
Wait,
but it seems more humble when somebody else. Mike, clip it in with Troy saying it.
Like,
No,
wait,
the
all
drip report for
just
Rashad,
Just finish, bro. Just finish.
phenomenal.
But this isn't this. I'm going somewhere with this. So it's like, so I see most of the comments are very positive, but I have seen comments in the past where it was like, well, does Rashad need to dress and wear watches? Yes, yeah, I do.
Can you tell them why that's important, though, especially for our culture? And I'll say the Floyd thing. I was flabbergasted the response that Don Peebles got. Floyd had no lenses in his glasses at the New York show.
He was sitting
Legendary.
across from me, and
But the chain came out, lit up the whole arena, and I looked, and Ty was like, you look befuddled. I'm like, I can't believe they reacted like that to the chain when Don has that information in his brain that is equivalent. Once again, you train us how to behave. So a part of the elevation is to elevate in wardrobe, et cetera. But can you tell them why it's important?
Well, we could do like the cliche things of when you look good, you feel good, that's good and all that. But for like, I think you have to be true to who you are as a person.
Yeah.
So you see these memes where it's like Bill Gates does it. Bill Gates never had no swag. Like,
and also those T-shirts that Zuckerberg and Gates wear are $3,000 a piece.
Like they never had no swag, no disrespect. Like I was 10 years old hanging out with 30-year-olds. Like I was voted best dressed 2 years in a row. I don't know why I didn't win the third year. I don't know. Classroom politics.
Mike, when was this vote?
This is a fact.
When was this?
Well, what year?
In sixth grade, seventh grade.
Well, what elementary was this?
Bailey.
Bailey, okay.
It was Bailey. It was Bailey Woodlands Middle School.
Got you.
Like this is
Greenberg. Can we confirm this?
With no support?
No, I had support. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying as far as I was. I was wearing Gucci sweat.
Him Tebow. Him Duncan. Got you.
In 2000.
Got you.
No, that's 23 years ago.
Him Hardaway?
Yes.
Tim Hardaway.
23 years ago. So it's like
Him Cook.
you have it's important to be true to who you are as a person. This is who I'm really into fashion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not like
Don't get deviated. What you did this week
was legendary. But
this is what I'm saying. Like you start going down these roads. And I'm like, yo, come back.
The comments are going to say
Go ahead. Tell
we have to focus on humility and not be.
Go ahead.
NAACP. Well, in defeat, what did you learn?
No, I just want to talk about the drip thing.
Gotcha.
Because no, it's important.
Yeah.
Because people have to be able to embrace who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't let people dictate who they want you to be.
That's a great lesson. Say it again.
You can't let people dictate who they want you to be or who they think you are.
You are.
They think, oh, you teaching financial literacy, you should be a poor righteous teacher. You should be pro-black and wear dye sheet. No, I never did that.
Gotcha.
Like, you're not going to dictate to me that's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like you saying like, yo, you hanging around rap. Yeah, because I listen to rap. Like that's the difference. Like they talk about the Grant Cardone. No, I actually, listen, it's impossible for us to poach the culture or to be a culture vulture because I'm really the culture. Like, that's the difference. It's like Grant Cardone, he made a statement where he had to ask to use the N-word. I don't like to use the N-word because I just don't think it's productive. But who's going to tell me I can't say nigga? Nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. I don't have to ask somebody to say it. I could just say it. Yeah. I would rather not say it because it's just not something that I really want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's productive.
Yeah.
I don't have to get anybody permission to say that.
Gotcha.
So, you know what I'm saying? This is the difference. So it's like people online are perceiving people a certain way.
Yep.
And some people are living up to that. So they're not doing things because they're like, damn,
they're worried about
if I
what
do
the
this,
fan
what are
base
they going to think?
Yeah.
If so, I'm using that to just give liberation. You could be whatever you want. Don't worry about what somebody's going to think of you. Don't let them put you in a box. Don't let them say you could only do this.
Yeah.
Don't focus on, if you want to do a rap album and you teach finance, then do a rap album.
Yep.
If you want to do a cooking show,
be fearless. Yeah,
do a cooking show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, you only have to answer to you in this world.
I'm going to bring the leather jacket out of Novo Theater.
You got to. Because why not? Now, back to this NAACP.
I do love that I turned into like a baby face and Rashad's heel this season. I love that you turned to me this season. Tell them why you mad, son.
People only respect violence.
No, we really are the culture, though.
They only respect violence.
No, it's a fact. Like I said, we can go into any room. We can talk about culture, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's finance. I just think, I don't even want to call it duality.
Yeah.
I just think it's who we are. Like, it really is who we are, right? Like, I always say, like, growing up with him and all of our friends, but me and him for sure, like, when we heard shit, we heard it differently than everybody else. Yeah. We interpreted it differently than everybody else. We decoded it differently than everybody else. So, like, they always be like, yo, those two are different, man. Nah, they be on their own time. I'm like, nah, bro, we just really see things alike. But when most people meet us in person, they're like, yo, these two are completely different.
Yeah.
But we have a commonality of the culture.
But, like, even talking to Big Boy, when we had a conversation with Big Boy, shout out to Big Boy, and he was just like, yo, what people see me as and who I actually really am and what I came from is not the same. But that's one of those things, right, where they see you a certain way and they're like, this is who you are. You don't even know who this person is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But you telling them this is who you should be. This is who you are. Then they start to treat you how they think you are. It's like, nah, don't do that. Because I'm not this person. Don't put me in a box. Don't tell me what I can do. Don't tell me who I can associate with. They try to do that with us all the time. Why y'all interviewing Ari? Because we want to. Why y'all interviewing Jada? Because we want to. Yeah. And they're important.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, when you create a show,
you can choose
you should do this. No, you should actually do the same.
Like, why y'all dancing with AB? Because we want to.
Yep. And also, that
was actually a video.
Lifetime customer value is one thing that we talk about a lot in business, but we have to look at lifetime customer loyalty as well. Sometimes, even with me, I'll be very honest, I read every comment. So when everyone was like, yo, Ian has become arrogant, I'm not arrogant. One of the most, I could have been left, done a whole bunch of stuff with a whole bunch of banks with people that were not our hue. But when I felt the pushback, I said, well, let me turn this up then to train people how to treat me. And then the same arrogance that people said that was there, going back to you can't put me in a box, the same thing that everyone criticized me for and going crazy with Meta is what got me into the room. Got me there with Guggenheim. So as we're on this journey, even the flaws that you see, there is an intentionality behind them. Steve Austin sold way more merchandise than John Cena ever did, being a good guy. When Floyd came out, I'm going to say it again, the eruption in New York was different for that of Don Peebles, and Don is Hefe. I don't know anyone black that has, and he has surpassed Grant's portfolio.
Dave just texted us.
Hello.
That's crazy. He just texted us.
No, that's real. That's real, though.
No, that's real.
And it's something that, you know, people online, they're like, oh, well, y'all doing the same thing as Grant Cardone. No, it's really not.
Is that what they said?
Some people.
Oh.
So it's like, it's really not, because I don't have a problem with people hanging out with rappers.
Yeah.
My problem is when you're doing it when it's not sincere. Like, you don't know, you can't name me 5 Mobb Deep songs.
Yep.
You wasn't going to Fordham Road to go to the Army and Navy store to get a fatigue jacket. I did.
Or Sammy's.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Shout out to Sammy's.
So there's never a comparison of we can do whatever we want because that's really who we are as people.
Yeah.
So this NAACP award thing, we didn't win. But I learned the valuable lesson. Kev on stage did a great job of galvanizing his base on social media. And it is something to be said for if whatever you want, you have to work hard for it.
Absolutely.
And he obviously wanted that. It meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
And he put together a very strategic campaign.
Yeah.
And he executed it very well. And he galvanized his social media followers in a very efficient manner.
What did you see him do that you didn't do?
He put up more posts.
Yeah.
He put up more creative posts. Like our posts, we put up flyers.
Yeah.
He was like doing like talking over and like monologues. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it meant more to him than us.
Yeah.
It didn't really mean that, no disrespect, but it wasn't. If I'm gonna dedicate 7 posts, I'd rather let's talk about InvestFest. Let's talk about Market Mondays at Novo Theater.
Yeah.
But I'm no disrespect. I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just about what your priorities are. But he did it in a very efficient manner. In the link in his bio was the first thing on his tree that he has with his thing. So it definitely let me know, okay, if you can be utilizing your followers more efficiently.
Yeah.
Galvanizing them.
Always something to learn.
More efficiently for your own personal situations if you need to use it like that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to him. He did a great job in doing that.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to his wife. I know she's been his support system, his backbone for most of his journey. But even the category, like it was outstanding social media personality. I think he fits that, right? Like he's a social media personality. He does live shows. He does comedy skits. He obviously galvanized a campaign.
Yeah.
And I had that conversation. I was like, are we social media personalities? I think we're something bigger than that. I just view us as something bigger than that. Yeah, that's the category we were nominated for, and we're grateful for the recognition and the nomination. And we were in the room with great people, but I was just like, all right, cool. Like you said, like it meant a little bit more. It was cool to be in the room, and it's dope to be nominated by the people that look like us. You know what I mean? Like I always say that Earning Leisure was built by us, for us. So to be recognized by us is dope. But I just see it as something bigger than that, right? So
I hate the term.
It was cool. The nominees that were in the category, they were dope.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah, they were dope. It was no hate. And like I said, I've had conversations on the phone with Kev. So shout out to him and his entire team. But it's just one of those things. Like I didn't even look at it as defeat. I was like, all right, well, they recognizing this brother this year for this. Yeah. That's dope. Let's see what we can make.
He's a dope person.
He's a good dude. It couldn't happen to a better dude. I'm just looking at the room like, all right, well, there's some people in here that we need to know. Yeah. Right? Like, how are we going to take advantage of this moment? Like, we're not just going to waste our fits, number one. That was satin, by the way.
Well played.
We're not going to waste our fits, but we're not going to waste the moment of being in this space. And so when we cross the room, we meet this person. Oh, I met this guy who's from Macro. Yeah, Macro hosts the Oscar party. We need to connect with these people. So it's always an opportunity. Even with everything happening, it's still an opportunity to find.
Speaking of Oscars, y'all going? I'll say I'll be there. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. We need a moment. Will, you can't do it, but Ryan Gosling, somebody make a moment out of it, please. So
he's got a band. Will won't be there, so maybe we can take it.
Oh yeah, he did get banned.
Yeah, he got banned.
Yes.
Maybe Jaden will be there.
And shout out to all the nominees. Shout out to all the people who won the NAACP awards.
Yes.
And the people that put the event on. BET obviously was part of it, and obviously the NAACP. To have an award show, like I said, that's crafted by us for us is dope, right? Because a lot of times we'll look for the outside acceptance of somebody else, and we'll wonder why the Oscars is so white, and then we don't show up to the NAACP awards.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody that was part of it and all the people who won. I know Abbott Elementary went crazy.
Well deserved.
Great show. I know Ben Crump got an award and had a powerful speech. So shout out to all of them.
That's great. All right.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Shook Shotty.
Yes, sir, Ski.
What y'all got going this week?
This week, we back in New York. Rare. That's a rare occasion.
Rare occasion.
Yeah,
rare occasion. We back in New York this week, and then next week we headed back to LA for Market Mondays Live. Get your tickets.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is also not only my birthday, but it's a very important moment in world history. Well, it's Dominican Independence Day. D Malo to all the Dominicans out there. It's a very important day for the Dominican Republic. But on February, my birthday is February 27th today. On February 28th, 6 years ago, a very important moment happened.
What happened?
So this was the time. So you gotta remember, at this time I'm a financial advisor.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, I want to become a celebrity financial advisor. I want to think about earning your leisure.
Gotcha.
So we all took a trip to LA. It was myself, Mike, and Troy. And Troy left early. A few things happened during that trip. We went to a family dinner, which that's a whole story within itself. I actually met one of the guys from yesterday. That's crazy.
Amadou, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, shout out to Amadou. Good dude. But on that day, that's when me and Michael, we was in a hotel room. And that was the beginning of building my own personal social media page.
Is this one you was at the elevator, or this is a different story?
That was the elevator.
Got you. Okay.
That was the elevator trip.
Got you.
But not.
You know about the elevator?
You told me yesterday.
So we did it
with Mike?
Yeah. Shout out Mike. Family business. After.
So we dedicated a day.
Hold on, time out real quick. And this is why I left. Again, in my mind, I'm watching Dad go to work, Dad go to work, I gotta go to work. It was a Monday. And I'm like, yo, we just had winter break for a week. I can't miss it Monday. Like, you can't miss a day after having a week off. Got you. So I'm like, I gotta get a doctor's note. I gotta go back, yo. So I leave them for a day to go back to work. Got you.
So during that day, we spent the day at the JW Marriott Hotel and created some content, created some ideas, and it was like a brainstorming session. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of social media, because that's when I had 500 followers.
Gotcha.
And then every day since, I never left Instagram every single day since. And we did a lot of stuff. Me and this guy, man, we did photo shoots. We did a video that never came out.
Not this guy, Mike.
Yeah. Mike. We did a photo shoot. We did a video.
Yeah.
With some
theatrics.
Nah, it was a whole.
Bro, what did we finally give the title for it? Was it a
Earn Your Leisure? Is the title?
No, I'm not. I'm saying the video that we shot.
What do you mean?
Like, remember we had the campaign? What when you was waking up? And
it's no title. It's not titled. It never came out.
He doesn't
want to say. Was it a screenplay? Well, not a screenplay, right? What did we say it was? Like, it was a treatment.
It was a treatment.
A treatment. All right.
It was.
So you had a content weekend.
No, that was over the course of a year.
Gotcha.
Okay. Then I went to Asia with Jamal. Shout out to Jamal. For 30 days, and we filmed content. That's legendary content within itself. So it was a whole bunch of stuff that was happening. And then I had a public access show.
Did you?
Clip
this in. clip the show in.
Wait, this happened on the February 28th?
No, I'm just saying this was all leading up to it. Because people don't see everything that goes
evolution,
into it. So even before the school, I had a public access show. This is something that...
What school?
Before we started recording videos in school.
Fact, not teaching though.
Yes.
All right,
this is something that Mike, he didn't agree with this at first. He didn't understand the public access show. But the public access show play... There's no Earn Your Leisure without public access, because it was practice.
Like I said, y'all.
It was practice. Like, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Kev Egger. So I could go on and on about.
Tell me about 28th though. What's the significance of February 28th?
I'll tell you the significance. The significance is that they sat down and strategized a plan to market him as a financial advisor who could be a celebrity financial advisor down the road. So it was an action plan that was created on that day.
Oh, that's fire.
So it's the beginning of social media. It's the beginning of social media.
Before, like, there was like, yo, hey, we had a hashtag. So this is like 2000. This is like big financial advisor, on social media. This is like 2006.
Mission accomplished.
2016 or 17.
Mission
accomplished. So like people, like, they look at those. It's crazy. So like the other day there was a post of us in the classroom. Like, we was in the classroom probably 6 years prior to even having that. That's why I said when people ask, like, where did the vision come from? I'm like, nah, bro, we was really in the classroom. He decided to say, like, yo, because again, I got to give credit to Valencia, who was actually working in the program as well. She was recording her classrooms. And he was like, yo, we should record this. And so, like, when people think, like, yo, AB's always, like, AB has been with me. He was the guy recording. If you see us standing up, there's somebody recording. He was working in the program with me, so he's the actual guy recording those classroom sessions. So it's like, that's why I said it's big. We can see the vision. The mission has always been more important than, like, these temporary moments or these temporary, gratification or trophies that people can give us. Like, nah, it's much bigger than that.
You know,
that's the significance.
But I say that to say, shout out to Mike, because he definitely was there at the beginning stages.
Yeah.
And that's important. And he gave me a lot of information. Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, somebody can get you information, but you got to work the information.
Yep.
So it's like, yo, but I actually had to teach myself how to edit a video. That's extremely difficult. I don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah, that's tough.
So he was giving me different apps to use. We was doing photo shoots. The idea was just to throw as much stuff on the wall because you never know what can hit.
More sticky, yeah.
And it hit. Yeah. Some stuff hit. Some stuff didn't hit. Some stuff did hit. But that's like everything in life. Like, everything is not always going to hit. But that was the beginning of where we're at now as far as online.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way people really knew who we was when it started to go online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once it started to spread on Instagram, and the idea, like I said, the idea was me, but then once Earn Your Leisure started, Earn Your Leisure became bigger than me. Yeah. And now it's like, all right, let's not focus on me being a financial advisor. There's a cap on that.
Yeah.
But there's no cap on what we're doing now. So then Earn Your Leisure comes, and then a variety of other people come into play at that point. But that was 6 years ago.
Congrats. You know what'll be dope though?
Okay.
March 11th?
Yeah. I was going to say February. I wanted to stay on the February 28th.
Go ahead.
Because it's an important date for my family as well.
Tell me more.
Happy 16th birthday to my niece, Tori. She turned 16.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
The 28th. Yeah, man, I remember when
I
remember she was born. Her godfather's in the room. And he's like, Troy, don't forget. Of course I'm not going to forget Tori's birthday. Happy sweet 16, Tori. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, Cash App. We doing 1,600. Who's with me?
I'm in.
Perfect.
I'm in.
Huh? I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said.
Como se dice? Cap? No, 1,600 for the 16th birthday.
There we go.
Of course.
Uncle Mike is upped it to 16.
Investing and trading has considerable risk.
This is recorded.
Please consult your advisor.
Consult your advisor. Consult your advisor.
Mike.
Come to the show March 11th.
Novo Theater, 6 o'clock.
Maybe we can give them a plan to help blow up over the next 4 or 5 years.
Write it down.
I feel
7
like
tips.
If they watch the last 2 months of Market Mondays, like these segments where it's like these things that happen, bro, that's a blueprint right there.
Yeah, if we can condense it down to like 5 steps.
I can feel it. It's like we're training the people to actually how they interact because it works and it's successful. Yeah. So I feel like if they've just taken these last 2 months specifically, you get in these rooms, man.
Shout out to AB.
You don't see it.
I told him, record everything because what you're recording right now is going to be a moment in history.
Yeah.
Mind you, this was 20 kids in the classroom.
Gotta have vision.
Nobody following.
Yeah.
Gotta have vision.
He started teaching the classroom after a while.
He became a videographer.
You have to keep it on you.
Yeah, listen.
Shout out to the guy, Drip Report.
Yes.
Shout out to the guys. Record everything. Everything. All them little predictions people said was crazy. AMC not gonna fall apart. They brought up all that in Meta.
AB, what's the number one rule we told him? Easy. Sounds easy.
Yeah.
There's only one person left.
Man, I think that my team significantly too. Hey.
That's 3.
And the last thing I'll say about this is be willing to do unreasonable things for a relatively short period of time and you'll have tremendous success in your life.
Absolutely.
So it's like, even for me, and this is why that Drake album means so much to me. And Mike knows, because I used to talk to him a lot, like as far as that time frame when I was a financial advisor. I remember like one time, like I cut off social media for 1 month. Mm-hmm. I closed the blinds. I was playing Drake with the phones, or I was just playing that on repeat, and I was grinding.
In the zone.
And I was staying up to like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, like very unhealthy habits. But you have to do things that other people are not willing to do to get things that you want.
Yep.
And if you're not willing to do that, that's okay. But you'll never be great. You'll never be great by just doing ordinary things.
Yeah.
You got to do things that are so extreme that nobody else is really going to do that.
Yep.
And if you can do that and you can stay consistent to do that over a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because 4 years, 6 years is not a long period of time. That's a short period of time.
Yeah.
Short.
30 years is a long period of time. If you could do that for 5 years, grind every day for 5 years.
What they say to us? 4 years? This is just 4 years? What's 10 gonna look like?
And we're still doing that. We on the road. I haven't seen my son in a month. I just saw that's
work.
actually not true because I just saw him last week.
True.
But I'm just saying, it's like you have to be able to do things. You got to be able to do things.
That's
bro.
like when the rappers be like, none of the teachers believed in me.
You
No,
gotta
Miss
be able
Johnson
to-
believed in
yo,
me,
you
bro.
got to be able to do things, man.
You remember when I believed in you?
Yeah.
It's been
Nah,
real.
It's real. It's real.
Happy birthday to Troy.
Love,
Absolutely.
bro. Love. We going up.
Happy birthday, Rashad.
We back in New York City.
Yes,
for the
I'll be
birthday,
there.
man. So hopefully, if I see you, I run into you. Love is love.
Bring gifts.
I think Saturday night we in the garden. We in the garden for Scissor. Shout out to Scissor, SOS. I will be front row. Front. There's the only way to do it. Front, right in front of her.
You deserve it.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Scissor. Market Mondays live. Novo Theater, March 11th.
March 11th.
Get your
Pull up,
tickets.
pull up, pull up,
I love
pull up.
y'all.
We lit.
And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's
Yeah.
go.
It's a big weekend in LA that weekend. So, I mean, we
Rolling Loud.
Rolling Loud's in town. The
Yep.
Oscars is here. Obviously, we mentioned the macro situation. It's going to be big.
Market Money's live.
Market Money's going to be the biggest thing out of all of them. And then we'll be outside. I'm sure we're going to be outside.
Yeah.
Research and development.
Oh, yeah, I'm in New York this week, too. Port Mines. I'm going to do shout out to
Shout out to
85
Fort
South.
Mine. Oh, yeah, I got
Yeah.
Chad. I got to call you back, brother.
Yeah.
Love you so much.
Yeah, we
man.
both owe Chad some calls.
Shout out to Dial, too. Pulled up on us. The UK Connect.
Looking regal.
Love.
One.
Peace.